Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you're car shopping right now, or you will be in the next 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. If you are car shopping right now, or you will be in the next 6 months, type me in the comments. I'm here to talk to the people who are locked in, who care about their money for the next 30, 45 minutes about buying and leasing cars below market value. There's only three prices you can pay with any car. Market value, that's the price everyone pays. Negotiators pay market value. Above market value is people who just don't know how to negotiate at all, have no strategy. They're going to pay above market value. And then below market value. Below market value is reserved for the people with strategies, not negotiators. The reason we get below market deals is because we employ online strategies that are very easy to use, where we put dealers and banks against each other while we sit and relax at home. So start typing your questions. I do these live streams a couple days throughout the week to make sure you have all the answers you need to be able to buy, lease, and sell cars for the maximum money. And that's all we do here. So everything we'll be talking about is out of my new book. It's called It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated, and you can get your copy for the next 30 minutes as part of my welcome offer for 75% off. It's normally $97, but if you get to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio before 30 minutes is up, you got yours for $24. It'll be in your inbox in 2 or 3 minutes. I also have a comment on YouTube or in the Facebook comments for you to activate your 75% off. That's everything we'll be talking about today. Let's go with the first question, Dolan. Let's get the show on the road, and let's get to some unlearning and relearning. Philly Speed, the last car I bought, the dealership wanted me to use their financing instead of my pre-approval. So we always let the dealership see if they can beat the financing we have, but we also come in prepared. And now you got to be careful now, because banks are now scamming. Banks are locking people in with hard credit pull pre-approvals. So they know that the people are hip to pre-approvals. And so I want you to pay very close attention to any company, dealership included, that tries to lock you in, because that's the exact opposite of what we do. We do not let banks and dealerships lock us in, because that prevents us from shopping their competition. And the way that you save the big money, not the hundreds, if you want to save the thousands, the 3,000s, the 5,000s, the 10,000s, and more, is you're putting dealers and banks against each other. That is the name of the game, and that allows you to save more money than you've ever saved without being you could be the world's worst negotiator. You could be a horrible negotiator, and putting dealers and banks against each other is going to be how you save more money than the best negotiator in the world. So we don't do pre-approvals unless they're soft credit pull. If they're soft credit pull, we'll use the pre-approval to budget, because the only purpose of a pre-approval is to budget. Who's a homeowner? Type me if you're a homeowner. You know you got a pre-approval, or you got pre-approved for your mortgage to budget. They told you, based on your credit, based on your income, you could afford this much house: 300,000, 400,000, 600,000. They told you this is what your interest rate would be. This is what your monthly mortgage payment would be with taxes and insurance. So the only purpose for pre-approvals is budgeting. So now, when you don't, the reason why I hate bad pre-approvals, in my book I call them restricted pre-approvals, is because, one, they're going to activate the rate shopping window. Thanks, Dawn. The rate shopping window is a period of time that the credit bureaus give you to let multiple banks and lenders access your credit with a hard pull to compete. So within a 14-day period, you can have 20 banks access your credit, give you their best rate, so that you know you got the best rate because you created competition. Now, once you activate the first hard pull, the clock starts ticking. The clock starts ticking. And when you start, You think this is your bank. It's not your bank. You don't own it. We don't own these banks. These are for-profit companies. Just like somebody said to me the other day at the gym, hey, I went to my car dealer and they told me this. I said, you own a car dealership? He said, oh, no, no, no. I meant the dealership that sold me the car. Okay, use those words wisely because it's not your dealership and it's not your bank. These people would not even want to know you if you weren't giving them money. So now that you actually know the truth and you're aware of what that is, let's start putting these people against each other so you can find out that these people aren't truly your friend. So the way we do it, I have a strategy I call the bank bidding war. This is what the credit bureaus allow. Again, you can Google Experian rate shopping, and you'll see an entire blog post that Experian put together saying how they allow you to rate shop with the hard pull. And at the end of the window, as long as you have multiple lenders within that period of time, not multiple dealers, not dealers running your credit, lenders, independent lenders, banks, credit unions, you're fine. At the end of the window, it's going to weigh on your credit like one hard inquiry. So if one hard inquiry would have lowered your credit score 10 points, 20 hard inquiries are going to lower your credit score the same 10 points because they see you're shopping for your rate. You don't get penalized for being diligent. You get rewarded because they know if you're shopping for your rate, you care about the $2,000 and $3,000 and $5,000 in your loan that you could save by getting the best interest rate. So we do this after we find our car, Philly Speed, because once we find our car, well, first of all, let me say this one thing. We separate who we buy our car from who we get our loan from. These two different people. Because whoever wins the bid gets our loan. Whoever wins the bid gets to sell us a car. It's not the same person. It's not the same companies. What's up, Sheila? Good to see you, Sheila. So this is so once we find the dealer who's going to sell us the car, they win the bid, used car, new car. We now lock that car up with a deposit. Now we come home, we do all our rate shopping online, banks, credit unions, online lenders. I have resources in my book where you have online credit unions. Let all these people compete. Then we call the dealer and we see if they can beat it. This is how we guarantee that we're not paying 7.2% interest when we could have been paying 5.9% interest. We're not paying 6.9 when we could have been paying 5.19. That's big money. And I know you haven't been taught that. You've been taught, oh, let me just focus on this, my monthly payment. That's one of the worst things you could do is being a payment shopper. Being a payment shopper, hey, give me the $400 a month for this car. We got a deal. That is one of the, and in fact, that's the first video I made on TikTok that really introduced me to the world. Is the worst thing you could do in a car dealership. Just say, get me to this payment, we got a deal. Payments they can manipulate. $400 a month on a loan is 5 years, $20,000 on a regular loan. There could be $30,000 on a lease, $35,000 depending on the car. On a lease, could be $18,000, $15,000 with bad credit. $400 a month. There's so many ways to get this $400 a month. So you don't want to be mixing these things. You want to separate your loan shopping from your car shopping. And it's easy when you're paying cash. Cash buyers don't make these mistakes. Cash buyers still overpay. They don't get, unless they're bidding, but they don't make the mistake of mixing their payments and thinking, wow, just because I got a good monthly payment means I got a good price on the car. Absolutely not. You could have a great monthly payment, but you paid a terrible price for the car. Two totally different things. That's why we separate them. Go ahead, Dolan. I see a lot of questions coming in. Let's go. We'll keep more coming. Let's go. You ever had bad? Okay, let's go to the next question. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Maybe it was a typo. Can you please let us know if there's any limits for gap insurance if I'm upside down? It depends on on the coverage. You need to find out the coverage. There are gap insurance policies that I've heard of that didn't cover the entire shortfall. So, for example, if your vehicle is worth $25,000, but you owe $30,000, you're upside down. If your vehicle gets stolen, and not found or totaled, you're going to owe money. And I've seen this happen so many times throughout the years because people didn't get gap insurance. They'll literally total their car. And then so now you got a horrible life event that happened. You got into a car accident, and then you get a bill. You get a bill, and people are like, wow, where did I get this bill from? And it's like, your car was only worth 25, but your loan was 30. So if you're driving around in a car that does not have, that's not worth what you owe, but you don't have gap insurance, you're exposed. Something happens to that car, not only are you going to lose the car, you got a bill coming to you. So what I always say is, you got to know when you're upside down. You got to know when to get gap insurance. And you also have to know you don't have to buy it from the dealership. You can call your insurance company, see if they sell it. You can Google insurance companies that sell gap. Usually you can find it for a cheaper price than what the dealership is going to charge. But some of the worst, it's insult to injury. It's not many things like losing your car and then getting a bill on top of that. That's almost as bad as like having a car that's breaking down and then you got to fix something on it, but you still have a car payment. So the car doesn't drive, transmission's out, but you still got to make a payment every month. It's like, those are two of the toughest things. So know when you need gap insurance. Don't skip that. That's not a smart decision at all. But then check the coverage too, because he's asking about coverage. Check how much coverage. Do you have $15,000 of coverage? When you get your gap insurance policy, ask how much is covered if, God forbid, the vehicle is totaled. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Hey, what's up, MT? I'm in the market to lease my first Mercedes. I'm looking for an S580E. Make sure you get multiple offers. So let me give you an example of somebody who shops for a luxury car, gets multiple offers, and this was an electric BMW. Where's Teddy's deal? Teddy got a $73,000 BMW i4 M50. He got it for, he said he got 10 offers. Now, we use a process in my book, it's called the 25 to 5. When you're getting a new car or a lease, you're reaching out to new car dealerships. And the reason why the strategy is called the 25 to 5, because we're going to get 25, we're going to connect with 25 dealers online. Takes us 20 minutes. Using my email scripts, we're going to get 5 offers. So it's 25 connections, 5 offers, 25 to 5. Now, some people you'll see, they've gotten more offers using the strategy. In Teddy's case, he said, I received 10 offers. I only used the scripts provided. Closed on a 2024 BMW, $73,000 MSRP, $856 a month. Now, here's what I always say, and Teddy is going to confirm this. When you properly shop multiple offers, you are going to see a wide range. If you shop the right way, your best offer should be $150 to $200 apart, at least that different. So your highest offer should be at least close to $200 apart from your best offer. And sometimes it's even more than that. So in Teddy's case, you can see the dealer's initial offer came at $937 using the counter offer calculator, which I have in my book. You get access to this calculator where we put all our offers in, and then it spits out the counter offers based on the best offer we received. He said I counted at $829. He came back at $856. That's where he closed the deal at. So $856. $73,000 vehicle, that's a 1.1% lease. The way you judge your leases is you divide the monthly payment into the total MSRP, and that gives you what the percentage is. So he got a 1.16% lease. But here's what's very important. My highest offer during this process from a different dealer was $1123. $1123, even after his counters. So when I tell you that 80% of dealers are overpriced, had he been inside that dealership that was $1123 trying to negotiate, it would not have mattered how great of a negotiator he was. The $1123 dealer is not coming down to $856 because the $1123 dealer is an 80% dealer. They're not going to sell the car if they can't make a certain amount of money. And that's what the 80% do. They'll discount and say that's the best we can do. They're not lying to you, but it's not the best their competition is willing to do. So if you're in a dealership that's an 80% dealer, this is why I said at the beginning of the stream, negotiators lose all the time. Great negotiators who don't use a bidding system lose all the time. I don't care if you're in sales. You say, Deshone, I've been in sales. I negotiate for a living. You lose all the time because there's no way for you to know the bottom of a vehicle. You don't know, is the bottom 7,000 off? Is it 3,000 off? Is it 15,000 off? What's the bottom? And the only way for you to know the bottom is to get multiple offers from multiple dealers and see the one who gives you the best offer. That's what confirms what the bottom is. So this is what you do. If you're talking about leasing an S580, this is what you do. You get multiple offers. On an S580 $100,000 car, you should see a $400 swing from your best offer to your worst offer. You might see $1,100 a month, and you might see $1,500 a month from one dealer. That is from a different dealer. That's how different it is. Now, if you want to call around and try to get the quotes yourself by the phone, you can do that. We don't do that. We use email because I believe that most people don't like talking to car dealerships. Believe it or not, there are some people who do, and God bless them. Go ahead, do your thing if that's you. Start calling around. But if you're like, you just want to be able to copy and paste and use emails, that is all in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everybody who's taken the time to write a review about the book. This is one that we got the other day. Marguerite, I started pulling these up. This book is a must if you're thinking of getting a new or used car. So much has changed in the process since I bought my car 40 years ago. Think of it as a workbook. Even though you finish the book, you'll refer back to it several times. This is another one that I snatched. Deshone the Auto Advisor book, Leave Nothing to Chance, from A to Z. He covers every aspect of car research, acquisition. I use the step-by-step approach from securing financing first to better understanding what I could realistically afford. Researched several vehicles, which led to the certified pre-owned. I reviewed my car specs, model years. See, what he's doing is he's walking you through the process I walked him through. That's what it is. It's a process. So when you get Cars from Home, my digital book, you now have a process for getting below market leases, process for getting below market car deals, a process for selling your lease instead of returning it to dealers and they go and sell your lease and make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and you didn't even know you could sell leases. You sitting here like, man, I didn't even know you could sell a lease. How much has that cost you? Let me ask you a question. You're like, Deshone, I didn't even know you could sell a lease. How much has just that alone cost you? If you don't know you could do it, you certainly don't know how to do it. There's still you listen, honestly, you might have been taught you can't even sell your car without the title. Who was taught that? I got to have my title before I could sell it. And I know this is true because when I was at the Mercedes dealer, people would walk in and the guy would be like, Deshone, is that the new one? I said, yeah, that's the new, the 20, whatever. I said, all right, as soon as I make my last payment, coming back to see you for that. I know. Most of the people are not going to admit it, but they didn't know. They don't know this stuff. So the reason why we have to get, I'm talking to you who are honest, who are willing to be honest and willing to take the bad news, because that's how we change. You cannot, if you won't admit that you didn't even know how to sell a lease, then how are you going to get to the point where you can sell leases and make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? See, I always meet people with bad news because I care about your car deal. I'm not the person who meets you and says, hey, Milton, you're doing a great job. Brandon, Randy, you guys are just doing a great job buying these cars. Look at your deals. Wow, you're getting 1% leases. Wow, look at all these offers. You're getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 off on all of these offers. Great job. Oh, man, look at your pre-owned car. You got a huge discount. Originally, this car was $50,000 and you got it with good mileage for $26,000. Wow, you got a great discount on this pre-owned car. That's not how I'm meeting you. That's not how I'm meeting you. I'm meeting you. You don't even know that you should be getting the new price of a used car. You're looking at a used car. Duh, I'm looking at a 3-year-old car. Deshone, how do I know if this is a good deal? Well, we need the brand new price. What was that car brand new? Was it 50? Hey, when I was looking at my Infinity truck, I was buying an Infinity truck 2 years ago. I was looking at 4 white ones. 4 white ones. They were between $30,000 and $32,000. Now, most people would have just said, "Oh, well, let me pick the best one." Close my eyes, did a roulette, and they would have got in trouble. Why? Because I know, which is what I teach you in my book and what I teach in these streams, you have to get the new price. So now I get the new price and I find out one of the vehicles brand new was 46, one was 48, one was 52, and one was 54. Brand new. So all of those cars, when they were 30 to 32, they look similar. Oh, they look so close in price. But once I understand that, oh, this one's 46, that one has $8,000 more equipment in it, the price became far. It became clear what value was the best. Somebody would have picked the $46,000 car and said, "Oh, well, that one was," they were asking the lowest price. Meanwhile, for $1,500 more, you could have got $8,000 more equipment. This is value. So these are the things when I meet you, this is how I come. Deshone, I know I made a lot of mistakes. I'm willing to hear the bad news so I can get to the good news, so I can stop making these mistakes. That's all we're here for. And if you could take that, then we're going to be fine. You're going to be just fine. I can help anyone get below market deals who's willing to unlearn. That's it. If you're willing to unlearn, you're good all day. Okay, so that's what you do, MT. Get bids, multiple bids. You need to get at least 5 bids for that Mercedes before you make a decision. Once you get the 5 bids, you'll have a clear winner. That's who you do business with. Go ahead, Dolan. And Joe, matter of fact, let me show this Mercedes discount too. Just so you know, MT, we just had somebody who got a Mercedes. And just so you know how much money is in there, you got to zoom in on this. But this was a $79,000 Mercedes electric one, just like the one you're talking about getting, except this is an EQE. And Milligan got $27,000 off. That's 20. Let me put that back on the screen. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, you can see this. $27,000 off. So I don't want you going in there thinking that, hey, if I could get $5,000 off, that sounds like a deal to me. Well, unless you get multiple offers, or you can leave a lot of money on the table, you'll end up overpaying by like $15,000, $20,000 and never know it. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot that next one up. All right, welcome to the new people who just jumped on. This is Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We're doing rapid fire Q&A. Any car question, throw it up, type it up. Dolan will pull it into the screen. And shout out to the people who have liked the broadcast. Hit that like button. It means a lot. You make sure you run once you do that, you let the algorithm know we're talking big money over here. All right, ID Core Rules. What's the most discount seeing on a RAV4 Premium? You're feeling for the bottom. That's a losing strategy. So when I look at a vehicle like Tiffany's vehicle, Tiffany, look, she gets a Mazda 2024 CX-90. Her best offer from all of her bids was $6,530 off. At the time last year, Eddie got a Toyota 2023 hybrid Camry. Those were hot. His best offer at the time was $2,086 under MSRP. That was a time when people were still charging over MSRP for some of these hybrids and some of these Camrys. So you don't know what your offer is going to be. I wish I could tell you that, hey, Jeep Grand Cherokee, if you get $7,000 off, that's the bottom. A BMW X5, if you get $6,000 off, that's the bottom. No one knows. And frankly, there's never going to be a way to know. The only way that you possibly could know is if you're in our network and you see people who make a deal. To give you an example, if I see Ansley picks up his QX, his Infiniti QX 60. I see Ansley, let's see, he picks up his Infiniti QX 60, $58,000 vehicle. He gets it for $554, no money down. He leased it. $554, no money down on his lease. That's a under 1% lease, if you're not aware of how leases are judged. Savvy people all know about the 1% rule. So if your lease payment is 1% or less than the MSRP, you stole a vehicle. So this is a 1% lease, no money down. That's the only way we can judge a 1% lease, not with money down. So when I look at the discount on this, he probably got $7,000-8,000 off that Infiniti. He might have got you. You can't get that type of payment without getting huge amounts off and huge rebates. But he did not know that he was going to get that type of payment on his Infiniti. He did not know that he was going to get that type of payment. He went in, he shopped the market using our strategies. And just so you know, once you know how to do this, it only takes you 90 minutes to shop the market. When you see these people, look at Ansley's last sentence. Started the process Saturday, accepted a deal Monday. This doesn't take you, I'm not ever going to spend more than 2 hours car shopping to get a deal. Never. 90 minutes tops, I'm going to get a below market deal on anything. So when you look at the process of using a computer, this is what they're made for. See, the problem is you're just not using computers. You're not using the internet. You use the internet for Amazon, don't you? Don't you use the internet to shop competitively from Amazon, to go on websites when you need to buy something big? You're going to the internet. But when you need to buy something like a car, you're going to the dealership, not the internet. When every dealership in America has a website that you could be reaching out to them and making them compete. But no one knows what the below market deal is going to be, Cora. It's just ID corals. There's no way to know. We have people who, you saw Milligan, her below market deal was $27,000. It depends on the vehicle. That was an electric Mercedes. Sean's below market deal on a F-150 Lightning that he got was $20,000 off. Where's his deal? Look, Kimberly, she got a Maserati. That particular Maserati, the below market deal was $20,000 off. But as I said, Sean, $20,000 off. But Tiffany was $6,500 off. So when you see on the Mazda, so it's different for every vehicle. You have to understand that. And there's no way for you guys to know that. Unless you're in our group and then you see somebody get a car that you want and you're like, wow, if he just got 20 and he did that work, then I know the below market deal is 20. Let me go get it. But you still got to send your offers out. But there's no way to know. And when you try to guess, you get in trouble. That's what negotiators do. That's what negotiators do. They'd be like, all right, I feel like I got 7,000 off this. I think I did good. What if you could have got 12? What if you could have got 17? You're not doing good. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Absolutely applies to used cars. Our system in my book, somebody said, does this apply to used cars? Our system in my book is below market used cars, below market leases, and below market new car purchases. We also have the bank bidding war where we make banks and credit unions bid for our business instead of going and begging one bank to give us a loan. So we also sell leases and sell. So we run pretty much an organized bidding system for car buying and leasing. That's what we do. In a nutshell, what separates Cars from Home from any other channel? What separates my teachings from anyone else? We have an organized system for making people bid for our business. We send them through a round robin. That's how we have grandmothers who save more money than the best negotiator. It's just that simple. Rosalie. Rosalie's deal is insane. Look at Rosalie. And I wish some of you, I know some of you have these cars. That's the reason I show all of these different cars, because you might have these cars and you didn't get these prices. So that should be a wake-up call when I show all these cars, Jeep Grand Cherokees, QX50s, Mazda CX90s. Some of you have these vehicles. And you can look at your deal, look at your paperwork, look at your selling price. Look, do you see any rebates included? Look at your price and be like, you'll see, man, I didn't get these prices. She got a 2024 Infiniti QX60, $59,000 vehicle. Look, her payment is $592 a month. It's a $59,000 vehicle. Some of you lease this vehicle, you put down $5,000 and your payment's $500 a month. She put down nothing. So this is below market. I told you at the beginning of the stream, it's 3 prices that you can pay for any car. 3 prices. Market value, that's what negotiators pay. Above market value, that's what people with no strategy pay. Can't negotiate, no strategy. Just please, just get it over with. Tell me what it costs. They're paying above market value. And then below market value. Below market value is reserved for the people who know how to make people bid and compete for their business. Okay. All right, go ahead. Every time you get a hard pull on your credit, it brings down your credit score. That's why you want to mix them with, you want to have, all right. So first of all, you want to understand that this is called the bank bidding war. And this is an organized process that we created based on what the credit bureaus allow. The credit bureaus allow you to have multiple banks and lenders access your credit within a certain period of time, and it will show as one hard inquiry on your score. You'll see the inquiries, but the score, where one inquiry might drop your score 10 points, you could have 20 inquiries, but it's still going to be the same 10 points. And you can Google very simply, go to Google, type in Experian, which is a credit bureau, rate shopping. And you'll see the article that Experian themselves wrote telling you how you can rate shop. Banks don't want you to know this. Dealerships don't want you to know this, but we do this. So this isn't something that's new to us. It may be brand new to you, but think about that. If you are letting a lender lock you in to one offer, that means you're not shopping your interest rate. If you're going to Navy Federal because you're so gung-ho and super chummy with Navy Federal, but you're not letting anyone else compete against them, then you're not getting the best interest rate you could be getting. You certainly don't know it. You think because, oh, Navy Federal, they're my credit union, they would never charge me a higher interest rate than someone else would. Who said that? Their goal is to make money. So we use a strategy that is allowed by the banks, by the credit union, by the credit bureaus, and most people don't know about it. That's fine. Most people don't know anything about what I'm talking about. So everything that we're talking about here, most people don't know about selling leases. Most people don't know about getting bids for their cars instead of trading. Most people don't know about sitting online and contacting 20 dealers to get a lease quote using online scripts, emailing only to get 5 offers. Most people don't know about anything we're talking about, leasing, and how leasing saves you way more money than buying unless you keep your cars 8 years. If you keep your cars 8 years, then leasing doesn't save you more than buying. But if you don't keep your cars 8 years, leasing, getting below market lease deals like some of the ones you see that I've shown you, saves you way more, thousands more than buying. Most people don't know any of this. So it's not about that. It's about, will you know it, Dawn? I don't care about what most people know. I care about the people who are like, look, I want to know this. I want to know how to make sure I shop for my interest rate and don't let the dealer shop for it for me, or don't just let one bank give me their offer. No, it's too much money. You know the difference between, and I want to pull this up, the difference in interest between on a $40,000 loan, 40K loan, what's the difference in interest from, let's say, 5.9 to 7.9%? Because we're so busy talking about the money on the car, but we totally overlook the money in the loan. And we don't. So when in my process, those of you who have my book, you know the bank bidding war. You know we're taking shopping at home for our loan just as serious as we're taking getting the best price for our car. So look, on a loan period, 5-year loan, interest paid on a 5.9%, 5.9%, hold on, interest paid at 5.9 is 15.8, difference is 4,000, positive comparison, and interest costs $40,000 loan over 3 years and 5 years. $11,000 in interest? That can't be right. Interest paid is that can't be right. Hold on. 7.9%. How much interest is paid on a 5-year loan? 7.9%. Could be over $15,000. That's impossible. 7.9 is that's impossible. Hold on. Now I gotta figure this out. I know it's a big difference. I know it's thousands different, but on a $40,000 loan, hold on. Wow. All right, so if I put in a $40,000 loan, 60 months, 7.9% interest, 0 down payment, forget about sales tax. Let's see, calculate. All right, principal, interest. Why is it not giving me? Here we go. Total loan interest is $8,500. Okay, that sounds more right. Okay, so on a $40,000 loan at 7.9, interest is $8,500. Now at 5.9, interest is $6,200. $6,200 versus $8,500. That is $2,300. $2,300 from 7.9 to 5.9. So when Navy Federal gives you a 7.9% rate and you're just like, oh, well, I guess I'll just take it. That's my credit union. And you're not shopping them. You're giving them money without even trying. And everything we do is quick, simple from home. But you need to understand how much money you have given to these banks and dealerships by just not making them compete. You're not just magically getting big money off and saving all this money. That's just not, it's too much money in car deals. Go ahead, Dolan. See, I see a lot in a lot of these questions. What I'm seeing is people trying to feel for the bottom. You don't want to use competitive strategies. You're not going to get there that way. Michelle, what's a good APR on a 2014 car? First of all, a 10-year-old car, you shouldn't have a loan. In my book, I teach something called the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday. 72 months is the longest loan you want to take on a car. Anything longer than that is like a 50-year mortgage. If you got to take a 50-year mortgage to afford a house, you can't afford the house. So why is the 10th birthday there? Well, that's because we should have the car paid off by the 10th birthday. In true affordability, you can do this. If you can truly afford a car, you can do this. You can get a car on a 6-year loan that has a payment that you can pay off by the time the car turns 10. You know who can't do this? People who are buying cars they can't afford. People who want to get the Dodge Hellcat or the Dodge Demon and they can't afford the $70,000. So they're going to get one that's a 2017 with 90,000 miles on it, and they're going to pay $15,000 for it, $15,000. But the car is crap. Car's crap, $18,000, $20,000, but it's crap. Cars hasn't been taken care of, and they're going to take out a 6-year loan on it. So they're going to take out a 6-year loan on a car that is already old with high mileage. I've seen this. I call this the repo recipe. Some of you may have seen the video that I made on the repo recipe. The repo recipe created the rule of 72 and the 10th birthday, where I started looking and saying, by far, the amount of people I see losing cars to repossessions are people with loans on older cars. They own loans on older cars that instead of getting a nice, smaller, maybe less socially impressive used car, they want to get something that looks better, has more amenities to them, as more in a class of luxury, All right, Sean, I could get this 2015 BMW. It's it has 90,000 miles on it. They only asking 14 grand. It's a horrible decision unless you can pay cash, because all you're doing is investing in a car for 5-6 years with payments that is already due for repairs. At 10 years old, the car you're asking about, Michelle, is already due for repairs. This is the age of the car. This is the age of the life cycle of the car where repairs should be normal. 10 years old, the car should be paid off. And every 2 years, you go to your mechanic. Hey, what does it need? They say, okay, hey, you got to put 1,000 into it. You got to put 800 into it. No problem. Here you go. Let me keep my car running. That's the age of repairs. But when you're starting a fresh loan on a car that is in the age of repairs, this is what I call the setup for the repo recipe, because you're going to now get this payment, $400 a month, $300 a month, $500 a month, whatever it is, and you now have a surprise. Hey, car's breaking down. Hey, what's this light flashing on my dashboard? Hey, what's this going on? What's this sound I'm hearing in the back? That's because you bought a car that is in the age of repair, and you just bought it like it wasn't. See, if you drop cash on it, 15 grand, I don't got no problem with that. Because now you're going to say, all right, Deshone, I bought an older car, paid it off, but I'm going to put some money to the side just in case things go wrong. Perfect. But when you're making your car payment and you're paying your insurance and you're putting gas in the car and you have to do an oil change and then something breaks and it costs you $2,000, you're probably gonna see the repo recipe, because you're gonna be like, wow, and God forbid something major happens, like the transmission goes or a head gasket goes or the engine goes. I'll forget it. Now you're sitting there with a $400 payment on a 10-year-old car that literally you still owe $16,000 on, and it doesn't even drive. You need an engine. Happens all the time. I've been seeing it happen since 2006 when I got in the car business. And what's the reason? Older cars, long loans. Let's get these older cars, instead of being frugal and saying, all right, I could afford $300 a month. Let me go get an inexpensive, smaller used car that I can get something that's 5 or 6 years old, where it'll take care of me. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles because I don't have the budget for that, but it is going to be dependable. It is going to get me from point A to point B. It will allow me, it won't surprise me. I'm not going to come out one day to go to work and the car is broken down on me. Now I'm calling out of work and I got to call a tow truck and all of this stuff you're going to have with this 2014. So these are the things that I speak to my family about, to my friends when I was in the car business. These are the things that I would speak to people about, Michelle. A loan on a 2014 is a horrible idea. I can't even tell you what a good APR would be, but if you had said, what's a good APR on a 2020? I'm not going to tell you. We need to bid that out. We don't know what a good APR is. Is it 5? Is it 4.9? Do they have a special interest rate, 1.9? What's the best we're going to get? We're going to put it through a bank bidding war process, and we'll see. That's it. But a 2014, that's just too old of a car to have a loan on. Go ahead, Dolan. Everything I'm teaching is inside my new digital book. If you want the entire blueprint of everything that people like Pierre have used, people like Zafrina have used to get these below market deals, Teddy, people like Jared, look, Greg, some of you know Greg, he got his EV6 Kia, $56,000 vehicle, $527 a month. Everything that these guys have used and girls have used to get these below market deals is in my new digital book. And you can have it for 75% off. That's my welcome offer, but it's only for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, it goes back up to $97. So if you want yours for $24, head to my TikTok bio now or my Instagram bio, click the website link there, and then click the button that says 75% off new book. Get there before the timer so you can get your $24 book instead of a $97 book, even though it's worth it at $97. And if you're on YouTube, I have a comment for you, a link for you in the chat, and then I have a link for you guys on Facebook. But that's for those who want the blueprint. It'll be there. And make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page, because it has my support team's email on there, just in case you type your email wrong. Want to make sure you can reach out to support to get your book. Go ahead, Dolan. Does your book go into detail about cash purchases? Cash is simple. It's just simple. You're using one step of the bidding process. If you don't have a car to replace, then you're using one step. If you have a car to replace, then you still be doing the equity assessment to sell your old car. You just wouldn't need the bank bidding war because you're not financing. But for sure, if you use you'd be using the same process that Milligan used. Milligan used to save $27,000 off her car. Pierre, he got his pre-owned Mazda. He got 20% off certified pre-owned CX-5. Used the perfect budget calculator. Spotted this best deal of similar listings, and then he knows how to get the original price to make sure that he got the biggest discount from the new version. Somebody like Vincent. Vincent gets a Lincoln. He wanted to get, what I like about Vincent is he got more discount than he went in to get. I can't even see all of these people. Here we go. Vincent, he said, I bought a 3-year-old Lincoln Corsair, under 45,000 miles. He targeted to get 30 to 35% off original MSRP using the multiple marketplace strategy in my book. He got a 43% off MSRP, original MSRP. See, that original MSRP, that's different language. That's language that you should be using when you buy a pre-owned car. There's no pre-owned car that you should be buying from this day forward, and the original MSRP is not in your language. It just makes no sense. How do you know what the price is if the price you're paying is good or not? What are you basing it off of? Market value? What the other ones are listed at all? That doesn't matter. What matters is how much was that car originally? 60,000? Okay, now they're offering it for 30. It's 50% off. How much was this car originally? 52? Now they're offering it for 30. Okay, what's the better discount? That's what matters with a used car when it comes to getting the best price. Now, that has nothing to do with getting a quality car. We have different steps we take to get a quality car. You have to check the Carfax. You have to look at the title. We don't want salvage title. We don't want frame damage. We don't want rebuilt titles. We don't want rentals. So you're checking the title. We're looking at accident history. We're looking at service records. We're checking to make sure that there's no bad data on that vehicle. It doesn't have electric problems, doesn't have software problems. We do all of this in literally 15 minutes. That's our steps for making sure we don't get a bad used car. But when it comes to pricing, you must know the original MSRP, or you can't. Nothing else matters when it comes to used car pricing. So that's all in my new book. Grab your copy. You'll have the entire blueprint for how we do this. Go ahead, Dolan. What do you do if your loan is upside down and you want to lease? Transfer it over. In my book, we have 2 ways to get out of a negative equity. There's 3 options with negative equity. 2 lead to a car, 1 does not. So just so you understand the severity of negative equity I call the bad credit for people with good credit. Because when I was at the dealership, people walk into Mercedes, and if they left with they could have an 800 score. If they had too much negative equity, they were not leaving with the car. So there's only 2 things that I've witnessed in my career that stop people from getting deals on cars. Credit's too bad, negative equity. So that means it's a serious thing. So what I say is understand the cause. The cause, which you seem to know already, Lavis, is you should be leasing, but you buy. That's why Lavis is asking about going from a negative equity deal to a lease, because the taking out 5-year, 6-year loans is what you do. Then you go and you replace those cars in 2 or 3 or 4 years. You have negative equity. Happens all the time, especially to you who doing no money down deals. And to those of you who are putting down like 5, 10 grand, you don't have any negative equity, but you're losing that money. You're not getting that money back. You put down 5 grand, 10 grand on a car, then you come to trade it in 5 years, and you come to trade it in 3 years. You're not getting that 5, 10 grand back. You don't because it's just the car depreciates too much. So you're just throwing money at these cars that is not coming back to you. When you are going for a lease now, we have 2 ways that you're going to transfer to a lease from a negative equity deal. We're going to do our equity assessment. You're going to go to CarMax, go on these websites, CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB, Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, and AutoNation. Sell my car. 6 offers. So they're going to give you 6 offers on your current car. Now, that is going to be the smallest amount of negative equity that you're going to have, because that's the best offers you're going to get. These are companies that fight every day to buy cars. That's what they do. So they're not lowballing. They're not saying, hey, we'll throw out one number here and then we'll negotiate. Hey, Charlene, good to see you. Good to see you, Michael Singleton. They're not doing that. They're coming in and saying, all right, we're going to put our best offer online. And then when we inspect the car, if there was something that you didn't tell us about the car, if there was something that you left out, we're going to need to deduct that when we inspect it. So they're putting their best offers online right there. And so that means that's going to be your lowest amount of negative equity, because you're getting the most for your car if you sell to one of them. So let's say your highest offer comes from a Car Guru's dealer who wants to buy your car for $19,000. Let's say you owe 21. You owe 21, they want to buy it for 19. Hey, Steve Long, what's going on? Good to see you. What should you do? You should pay the difference, because when you pay the difference, you're closing the deal with the least amount of negative equity. That's what you want. You're closing the deal with the least amount of negative equity. And so when you go buy your car, your next car, or lease your next car, rather, in your case, negative equity has nothing to do with the deal. So that's what you would prefer to do. Pay the difference and then go out and get bids for your lease and then do a clean deal. But now let's say, they offer you 19 and you owe 29. So you are now $10,000 upside down. You can't pay the difference. I don't have 10 grand to pay the difference. Okay. Now what you have to do is you have to transfer that negative equity to your next deal, which means you have to trade your car in. And we don't trade. We don't like trading because you can't get bids. What's up, Dion? Good to see you. You can't get bids. The reason why when y'all hear me say trading is a curse word is because you don't get the money your car is worth trading it. You don't get the money anything is worth trading it. So now you've bought this car, you found this deal, but now you have to go to the dealer and say, all right, I need you to take a look at my car. Now, what happens if Carvana offered you 19, but this dealer can only pay 17? That's just all they can pay. They can't match that offer. So you're going to have more negative equity in most cases when you have to do this. So, but that's okay. If you can't pay the difference, this is your only option. Now, it's very important for those of you who are trying to do negative equity trades and then go into a lease that you understand loan to value ratios, because that's what's stopping you from getting your deals. When you go to buy a car, the bank usually gives you 20% above the value of the car. That's the max the bank is going to really give a person with good credit. Sometimes a little more, but we'll use that it could go to 25%. Ridiculous banks will go to 30%, but 20% is really benchmark. So if the car you're buying is 40, the bank is going to lend you max 48,000. That's 20%. So no dealer, no bank. What's up, Benito? Nobody can get $50,000 approved on that $40,000 car. So when you buy your car, you're trying to buy the car, put the taxes in, put the fees in, and then throw the negative equity in. So the car was 40. Next thing you know, you're at 52, and you want to do a no money down deal. And you're wondering why you can't do a no money down deal, because the bank is saying we're not going to lend 52 on a $40,000 car. That's when they come to you and they'll say, hey, you got to put money down. Can you come up with $5 grand? Because we can't get the bank to approve it. It's loan to value. Now, also, what you need to keep in mind is when you can get big discounts off the vehicles, you can actually bring over more negative equity. When you look at Sean saved 20 grand off his vehicle. If he had to throw 7 grand negative equity on there, he could do it. If you had to throw it, honestly, he got a $20,000 discount. If he had to throw 20 grand of negative equity on here, he could do it. Payment's going to be high, but he could do it. It wouldn't affect the loan to value ratios because he got a huge discount off the vehicle. We talked about Tiffany. She got $6,500 off of her vehicle, her Mazda CX-90. If she wanted to slap $7,000 of negative equity on top of this deal, she could do it because she got a big discount. And the bank says, well, we're basing the loan off 44, not the fact you bought it for 36, 38. You got a big discount, but that we don't care about that. We're looking at 44 and we'll lend up to 51 or whatever. So if she gets $7,000 off and she wants to throw $7,000 in negative equity, the bank's going to say that's fine, no problem. So it has a lot. It has a lot to do with how much negative equity you have, and also what is the vehicle you're getting and how much discount did you get off that vehicle. That's what matters. So make sure you understand what's causing negative equity, which is for you. So because, like I said, Lavish seems to understand she's going into a lease, but the cause for negative equity is buying cars when you should be leasing. Very simple. Yeah, Bella, that's a $7,500 rebate, and that's not the only thing you should be thinking about. Like you want to look at what discount can you get in addition to the $7,500 rebate. That's how we have people that are saving, $15,000, $10,000, $20,000. They're getting the rebates for the electric vehicles, but they're also getting huge discounts from the dealers that are winning the bid. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one out. Okay, all of this is in my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. This is the blueprint. This is 14 years of car business experience with Mercedes, with General Motors, and running my own brokerage and teaching thousands of people online how to get these below market deals and using a system. We don't wing it. It's not an accident. It's not like, oh, I hope this works. This is a particular set of things you do online to make dealers and banks bid, and success is guaranteed. If you trust my process and forget about your old way of no process, you will be fine. The success is guaranteed. So as part of my welcome offer, you can get the book for 75% off. It's normally $97 because it's worth every penny. I didn't want to price the book like it was a regular book because it's not. So it's normally $97, but for 30 minutes, you can get your copy for 75% off as long as you get to my TikTok bio, click the picture of me before 30 minutes is up. The welcome offer is only 30 minutes, then the price goes back up to $97. So you can go to my TikTok bio, go to my Instagram bio, click the website. You can go to the comment section on YouTube or the comment section on Facebook, click the link and get your 75% off. But make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page because it has the link right there to open the book. And then I also email you a copy, but sometimes you'll type your email in incorrectly and we can't email it. So you'll have my support team's email just in case. Is Capital One a good option to finance a car? We get bids. We spent a lot of time. You must have just jumped on, Jen. We get bids. There is no bank that is giving you the lowest rate. If a bank always gave you the lowest rate, they would be out of business. So when we consider what lenders, why do you think there's people in the money business? There are people in the money business. They don't care if you buy a car. I see you, Genome Hamilton. We'll get to you. Get that question from Genome on Facebook, Dolan, next. So why do you think there's people who are in the loan business? They don't sell cars. Banks don't sell cars. They sell money. So when you just see the overpaying, I told you guys, it's 3 prices you can pay for anything you get. Market value, above market value, below market value. That means you can get a market value loan. That's the average. You can get an above market value loan, which is above average, 2-3 points higher than what you could have got just because you were lazy. Now you're paying not 8.2%, but you should have been paying 5.7%. But you just didn't bother. You just said, okay, I guess this is it. But below market deals come from competitive offers called bids. So when when Capital One should be a bank that you get a bid from, Navy Federal, Bank of America, Community Credit Union, Lightstream, everyone and anyone should be in the bank bidding more, because the more the better. So when you get my book, you get the bank bidding war blueprint. For those, every time you're going to finance a car, you would use that process to make banks and credit unions bid for your business, so that you guarantee you got the lowest rate. You don't drive off hoping you got the lowest rate when you didn't even make anyone shop. How would you have the lowest rate? There was no competition. We cannot get money off when there's no competition. The big money, the thousands of dollars off that you're seeing, is reserved for competition. This is reserved for people who make people compete for their business. That's what the big money is reserved for. Look, 4 days of leasing like a boss. Started with a Kia Telluride EX. That was my first choice. 15,000 mile a year lease, range from 642 to 753. Moved to Honda Pilot EX. All-wheel drive is choice B. Got quotes between 616 and 719 after contacting every dealer in North Carolina. We do this totally online, so Melissa's talking about the entire online process. The dealer I ended up leasing from originally quoted me 719, came down to 616 in 3 days, 0 at signing, 0.13% lease. This is what it's about. Competition. She knows she got the best price. You can't go to her and be like, Melissa, you think you could have did a little better? She's going to be like, look at all the offers I got. Do you think I could have did better? You're going to look and say, no way. See, competition is what gives you the peace of mind. Every time you buy a car, why don't you have peace of mind? Why are you driving away hoping? Driving away, oh man, you think we did all right? Should we have tried to get more for the trade in? Man, shoot, we ended up putting 3,000 down. We only wanted to put 1,500 down. This is how you're leaving the dealership. Why? Because you're not making people compete. So when you're not making people compete, you're begging for discounts, and you have no leverage to be able to compare to even know that you got the best price. You have nothing to compare it to. So when people come on the stream and they're like, hey, Deshone, I'm paying $519 a month for this car. Is that a good deal? You have nothing to compare it to. Hey, I got a 2019 Mazda 3 for $17,000. Is that a good deal? You have nothing to compare it to. But if you had seen 7 Mazda 3s, and then the one you got, it was originally, 31,000, but you paid, 17 for it. You know this. And this stuff is simple. This isn't building rocket ships. But this is reserved for the people who care about their finances. Everyone doesn't invest. Everyone doesn't save. Everyone doesn't take financial literacy seriously in any way. But there are opportunities that flash past all of us where we can absolutely benefit from learning things that other people don't know. If you learn how to invest in stocks better than other people, you're going to do better than other people. If you learn how to get cars less than other people, you're going to get less than other people. This is not by accident. But you got to focus. This is your second most expensive purchase. So this is only for the people who are focused. This is for you. The blueprint, everything, my book, anything I do, the streams. The streams aren't for distracted people. We can't do nothing with distracted. There's people on here right now, they've got me on one channel, playing video games on the other channel, and then eating with another hand. And they think it's hard to win like that. We're going to talk about a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 transaction, and you're not even really focused. So I want the people who are focused to understand your success is guaranteed. Just by being locked in, your success is guaranteed, because we have a process that you can trust that that, you no longer have to wing this car buying thing. I've been in this thing since 2006. Car buying is very predictable. New cars, used cars, leases. There is nothing a car salesman is going to say or type to me or send to me in an email or send to my people that I haven't seen before. I used to have to send those same emails, copy and paste them. It's so predictable. So once you understand that, you'll understand why we're able to get these deals. All we're doing is putting people against each other. Simplest terms. Simplest terms. But we do have some advanced stuff when it comes to leasing versus buying. Obviously, this is more advanced teaching that people don't understand. But getting the money off, it's competition. It's competition. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one in. Jerome Hamilton, if I get a GM employee discount, can I get a better lease? Who knows if they're going to really give it to you? See, the problem is when you walk in and say, hey, I got a General Motors discount. All right, here, let me work you up these numbers. All right, it's $601 a month with $2,000 down. Oh, that's the GM price? Yep, that's the GM price. How do you know that? How do you know the GM price? How do you know it's not $3,000 in rebates that I'm holding back? How do you know it's not $3,000 in rebates and I'm only giving you $1,000 of it? Here, hey, I also we have $1,000 rebate. I also put in there for you. Oh yeah, you did with the GM pricing? Yep. You don't know. You don't know. So no matter whether we get X plan, GM deal, Mercedes fleet, does not matter. Multiple offers, because when you get multiple offers, what you're going to see is that some people are not going to give you the GM discount. And some people are not going to give you the rebates. They're just not going to do it. It's in their DNA. An 80% dealer is going to try to make everything they can make. I'm not giving this guy the $2,000 rebate. Why? Come on, I'll sell his car to somebody else. So now you're going to deal with an 80% dealer and hope you can get a deal. No. Once you see the 20% that says, here's your GM discount, and here's a $3,000 rebate, and here's the price, and then you compare it to the others, you're going to see, oh, those guys were trying to get over on me. Of course, that's what they do. That's what they do. 100%. Go ahead, Dolan. We always get bids. Doesn't matter. You can't trust anybody to give you a price and give you all the rebates and give you the hidden money like they're your friend. That's just not going to happen. If they rather make the $5,000 themselves, why am I volunteering money that you're not even asking for? You came in and you asked for a GM discount. I'm giving that to you, maybe. But you didn't ask me about these rebates. You didn't ask me about, I don't need to volunteer this. This is how they look at it. So many times you get in there, you go, oh, give me the invoice price. Can you give me the invoice price? We got a deal. Man, if half these people that I've shown you on this stream had accepted invoice price, they'd be looking at these prices that they paid and saying, why the heck did I pay that price? Invoice price means nothing. What if you got a $7,000 rebate, $15,000 rebate on some of these vehicles? What if you got a $4,000 rebate? Invoice price has nothing to do with rebates. So now, all right, I'll take off $2,500 to get you the invoice, but what about, that's it? You happy with that? Yeah, that's all I want. My father told me get the invoice price and I got a good deal. All right, your father was sadly misinformed. Unfortunately, thank you. I'm gonna take a vacation on this commission and we just made $7,000 on you. My cut is probably $1,200. I got a nice pay. Thank you. Thanks to your dad too. It's a good guy. Good guy. Keep following his advice. This is how it goes. Unfortunately, these people are not your friends. And as a former car salesman, I keep it straight. I keep it straight because unfortunately, most people on here, you just I'm going to my car dealer. These people are not your friends. You invite Charlie over to barbecues. Charlie is my friend. He's been selling me cars for 20 years. Sold my dad cars. Once you start making him compete, next time you buy a car, lease a car, say, hey, Charlie, look, I'm going to get a number from you, but I'm also going to get numbers from a couple other dealers. Hey, what you mean? Watch Charlie get mad. Watch Charlie get mad. What you mean? What, you don't trust me? I've been doing business with you for 20, 30 years. Yeah, but I want you to actually, I just want to, this guy Deshone told me I need to shop around, always make sure, because it's a lot of money I could be leaving on the table. Oh, man, come on, man. See, that's a person that never wanted to compete. He would rather come to your barbecues, be friends with you so that you don't make them compete. Because the minute you start making dealers compete, you're going to see how much money you've been losing. That's the only way. It's the only way. You start making these dealers compete, you're going to see, dang, I've been overpaying. Some people right now getting phone calls right now. Hey, come on in. We're going to upgrade your lease. Good news. We're going to keep your payment around the same price. Who's getting these phone calls? Who's getting these phone calls? Good news. I can get you out of your lease right now and get you into a new lease about the same payment. Who's getting those phone calls? Who's getting those phone calls? I ain't been on since 5 a.m., KD. Chill out, bro. Chill out. Who's getting those phone calls? Right? Hey, come on in. I could get good news. I could get you in the brand new 2025. You don't even have to you don't even have to put no money down. Come on in, right? All of that, right? Everybody's getting those calls. Why? Because 2022 and 2021, they overcharged you and your payment is so high, even though deals are a whole lot better. They were better back then, but they put you in a high deal back then. Now what they're trying to do is keep you in that high deal, hoping you're used to it. And they want you to think that's normal. They want you to think, hey, Mr. Hayes, yes, you've been paying $750 a month since 2022. Good news. The market is all bad. The market's bad, right? Oh, yeah, I'm hearing that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're aware. Now, see, you say stuff, you don't even realize you say stuff that helps them make more money. That's why we don't talk in my system. There's no talking. But when you say, a lot of my friends been saying, man, these prices been high. I don't even know if they ever going to come down. Yes, thank you. You're right. You're so right. We say the same thing in here every day, Mr. Hayes. But the good news is this. I can actually get you in a new vehicle and keep your payment around the same price as your old 2022. Oh, yeah, you can do that? Yeah. Man, well, I really like to come down. Yeah, but listen, things have not, interest rates are high, right? Have you been following interest rates? Yeah, I have been seeing that they're high and they've been high for a minute. Yeah, so that's all affecting the prices we can offer now. But, normally your price will go up by about $120. Normally you go up going to the 2025, but, I see you bought a car in the past and I was able to pull some strings, work with my manager, and we can get you on a new one, keep your price around the same. Okay, all right. When can I see it? Come on down. When can it come down? That price should be dropping from $750 to like $520 because the market is entirely different. There's been great deals out here since the daggone pandemic. It's been great deals. During the pandemic, we helped Benita. Benita got her Telluride. She got it for $600 a month during the pandemic. That's why I always show her deals. $600 a month. People are leasing these for $800 a month, $900 a month during the pandemic. This was 2022 when people were leaving out of the dealerships with axes in their heads. Couldn't believe how high they were paying. She believes $600 a month, her dream vehicle. So these deals have been out here. Look, Greg made this deal. Look, we've been making deals, below market deals. Look at Danielle. $44,000 vehicle, $550 a month, no money down. Charles, Palisade, $48,000 vehicle, $597 a month. Hyundai Palisade, top 5 SUVs in the market the last 3 years. So the people who tell you there's no deals, they don't know how to get them. So yes, when you go into, when you don't have strategy, I told y'all, I've said it, I think 3 times, maybe 4 on this stream. There's only 3 prices you can pay. Market value, that's what all the negotiators are going to pay. They think they did well. All they did is pay the average price of a negotiator. Now you got above market value. That's for the people who can't negotiate. You don't like negotiating. You're not good at it. You just close your eyes and hope that it works out for you. You're paying above market value. And then below market value, which is what you see these people pay because they're not negotiators. They make people bid. And when you make people bid, You don't have to be a negotiator. If someone comes in to fix, you want to get your kitchen redone, and they tell you, okay, it's going to be $50,000. Yeah, hey, is that your best price? All right, yeah, all right, because I'm going to have 3 or 4 other people come in and get a number too. Okay, well, I might be able to get you from like 50 down to like 45. Okay, it's all right. I'm going to have another person come. Another person says, I could do it for 41. Another person says, I could do it for 60. Okay, another person, I could do it for 42. Now you're creating competition, and all of them you tell, hey, I'm getting multiple bids, and they're going to give you their best offer. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but when they know you are getting other prices, they're going to give you their best offer. And that's what I tell you. When people say that's our best offer, Mr. Nunn, that's my best offer, Mr. Henderson, they're not lying to you. That's their best offer. They're not going any lower because they want to make a lot of money. Look, man, I'm making $6,000 on this car. If I can't make it, I'll sell it to someone else. I'll sell it to someone else. I don't need to sell. That's how the 80% of dealers think. You expect the incentive to get a lot better the next few months, especially Ram. What are the incentives now? Unless you can tell me that you've shopped multiple dealers for Rams and you can show me 5 different offers you've gotten on a Ram, you don't know what the incentives are now. How can we wonder if stuff's going to be better? What are you comparing it to? You went into one dealer, Dodge dealer, hey, how much is this Ram? They told you and you're like, oh, well, that's expensive. 80% dealer. 80% dealer. And again, the only way for you to see how much you've been overpaying is to start using these strategies that we teach for multiple offers. And I know, sometimes it's hard to face that. Sometimes you would rather not see how much you've been losing. And that's understandable. It doesn't make financial sense, but it's an emotional decision that's understandable. I don't want to know, Deshone, I would rather keep shopping the way I've been shopping and save no money or the same money rather than shop the new way and then see that the old way was costing me tens of thousands of dollars. That doesn't make financial sense. But the people when you ask, are the incentives good? You got to know what the incentives are now. That means we run the market. When I was shopping for my mother a couple years ago, I ran all the offers on a Mazda CX-5 for her in October. I didn't like the deals. I didn't like the lease offers. I contacted them again in November, emailed them all again. Hey, what do we look like in November? Didn't like the deals. Emailed them one more time in December. Or one of the dealers actually reached back out to me and said, hey, I got this car coming in. We did the deal in December. That is keeping track of incentives. That's monitoring programs. If I shop the Ram right now, it'll take me no more than 60 minutes to get literally 5 to 7 offers on Ram. Using my system, the 25 to 5 strategy in my book, I go into the book, I literally use my scripts, and in 60 minutes, 90 minutes, I'll have 5, 7 offers on Rams. That's just how it works. So now I'm able to look and see, all right, what type of discounts are they offering? What are the incentives? What are the programs? Do I like them? Do I not? All right, let me check back let me check back next month. Let me see if there's any new incentives. So that's the way it works. That's the way you move the market. We have to be able to monitor what the deals are. But I see, unfortunately, there's a lot of you who just you want to try to fill for the bottom. That's just what you've been trained to do. It's a losing strategy. I would love for you, if I was still at the dealership, I'd love for you to come and try to fill for the bottom. Especially if I work for a manufacturer where we got rebates a lot. Come on in, fill for the bottom. You know $3,000 off is a good discount. When's the last time you got $3,000 off a vehicle? I just think, I think I might be able to get more. Okay, listen, we settle at 5. You don't know I had a $5,000 rebate, so you're just not going to know. So you can sit here and feel for the bottom all you want. It's not going to work. You're still going to leave wondering, hoping it's a losing battle. That's why I'm trying to tell you, stop doing it. Stop doing it. You're asking, okay, what's a good interest rate for this vehicle? You're trying to feel for the bottom instead of sitting at home the way my book teaches you and making people bid and come to you. and have all of these people begging for you to do business with them. Oh, how much discount should I be getting off of a Toyota Camry? Feeling for the bottom. Instead of sitting at home, contacting 25 dealers online, using my strategies, using my scripts, and saying, okay, now I got 7 offers on a Toyota. Oh, I see the biggest one is giving me 5,000 off. Okay, that's the market. That's the below market. You cannot feel for the bottom. You can keep doing it. It's just a losing strategy. You're never going to get the discount, the maximum discounts, feeling for the bottom, walking into a dealer. It's just never going to happen. So for those of you who are tired of that, you're like, I don't want to be feeling for the bottom anymore, Deshone. I don't want to be worried about being a good negotiator, Deshone. I want to be able to have a plain, simple system for getting dealers and banks to bid for my business. That's what Cars from Home is, my digital book. 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off. That's my welcome offer. In my TikTok bio, click that picture of me, or click my Instagram picture. Go to my bio, click the website, and then you'll see a button to activate your 75% off your book. Grab it. It'll be in your inbox. You'll have all the strategies necessary for paying these prices, the same prices you've been seeing me share throughout the stream. Or if you're on YouTube, I have a link for you in the comments. If you're on Facebook, I have a link in the comments for you. Grab your book, use it, and shop empowered. The old days are over. The days of going in dealerships, over. Spending more than 30 minutes in a dealership, over. You'll never do that again. Begging for discounts, over. Not knowing what to say, hoping, oh man, they told me don't tell them I had a trade. All of this garbage that they've been trying to, none of this stuff works because you're not employing competition. So all of those days of that's over. Watching social media videos, all right, man, let me try to remember this. All of that is over because we have the blueprint. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. Thank you to everybody who's reviewed the book on Goodreads. We appreciate you. We couldn't get to this many reviews and a 5-star rating without you guys taking the time to rate the book and review it. But grab your copy. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, that welcome offer is only good for 30 minutes. After that, the book does go back up to $97, which is still a great price. But $24 is better than $97. So get there before the 30 minutes is up. TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube comments, Facebook comments. Use the book and go win. All right? Unlearn everything you've been taught. That's the key. Leave everything you've been taught at the door. Trust this process. Success is guaranteed. All right? God bless you. I'll see you in the next stream. Look, so we're explaining how you can take negative equity. If you get a car that you end up getting with a big discount, you can bring the negative equity over. And this Ionic deal, when this person shared it with me that they got a couple days ago, they got a $49,000 vehicle for $325 a month. Using these systems, using what you're going to learn. But here's the thing. Let's say she had $7,000 of negative equity now. She could literally take that $7,000 into this 2-year lease. That her payment's only going to go up $291. There'll be some tax there, so let's just say it'll go up another $310, and we add that to our first $300. So her payment's $610. Normally, getting a $49,000 car, bringing $7,000 of negative equity over does not equal a $600 payment. That's a $1,100 payment. That's a $1,200 payment. But if you get the right car where you can get tons of money off. And right now, leasing some of these electric cars, as long as you know how to get these $15,000, $20,000 discounts off of them and lease them, this is a brilliant way to get out of negative equity, because once these electric car rebates and these electric car discounts go away, the market's very soft on these cars. Once they go away, we're not going to be able to move negative equity over to these leases and make it make sense the way it's making sense now. But for now, huge opportunity. That's what I will be doing. Driving an electric car for 2 or 3 years, taking the huge discount that I'll get from shopping around, and then bringing my negative equity over. And then once the lease is done, you have no more negative equity. You do a fresh deal, and you never have negative equity again. Just make sure when you lease, you get the mileage you need. Alexis Owens, welcome to the group. I see you just follow. Andre Guest, thanks for sharing. Shout out to the sharers. And shout out to the people who tap the screen. Every time y'all tap the screen, watch the likes go up. So if you hear something that you like, you're enjoying it, just start double tapping the screen. Y'all will keep running the likes up. So keep typing your questions in. We're live. Dolan, can you bring some of these questions? I don't know if you had time yet to get some of these questions we got on TikTok. Jason Davis, good to see you. Moni Love. Yes, I actually told Moni Love. She asked, do I provide broker services? I don't do broker services. I do something, in my opinion, we do it better, because a broker still is going to shop, and you're never going to know what their best deal really is. Brokers make a lot of money. I'm in New Jersey, where there's a lot of brokers. There's a lot of brokers in New York, and brokers make a lot of money, and they basically do it based on trust. If I have your trust and I got the ability to control your entire car deal from start to finish, I have the ability to control where you buy your car from, returning your old lease, could be equity in that. I'm controlling all your money, and I'm controlling it based on a trust system. Then I have, and the thing that's better about being a broker, which is why really, you know who becomes brokers? Car salesmen who get tired of small commissions. Because car salesmen, when we're selling cars, we're getting probably on average 20% of the profit. And if the profit is $3,000, if the profit's $10,000 and we bring home $2,000, okay, that's cool. But brokers, all right, if the profit's $10,000, I could bring home $5,000. I'll split it, because the dealerships look at a broker as another dealer. So that's who usually becomes brokers. People who look and say, man, I'd rather make 2-3 times the money on each car, because I'm my own dealership. So what we do is we work with people and show you how to get all your numbers yourself, show you how to get the market reports yourself. If you use what's in my digital book, Moni, you could become your own broker, because no one actually shops cars the way we do. We do market assessments. So when we're leasing a car, we reach out to 25 dealers online. We never have to talk to them, and we get 5 offers, at least 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 10. New cars, we reach out to 25 dealers online using scripts, email scripts that I wrote. They're already wrote. You don't have to think about them. They're already written out. And then we get 5 offers. And then for a used car, we shop the market. We assess the market from the low side to the high side. We narrow down used cars based on title record, service history, accident history. We verify there's no bogus fees that they're going to try to charge us. Who's done that? You go to the dealership thinking you're going to get one price, and then they hit you with these other fees. This is what you do to avoid these things. We have to have a process for this. And so you could do this and become your own broker, but I would never recommend a broker, because unless they're going to give you a spreadsheet. If they're going to give you a spreadsheet of all the work they did, all the dealers they shopped, all the entire market that they assessed for you, then that's a broker that I would hire. And no one does that except us. We'll be launching that service very soon. Very soon. So people who like Deshone, man, I mean, if I could just pay y'all to run this whole and do your whole system for me, that's coming very, very soon. But for now, you may want to, shop with us. We have 3 ways that we can help you. 2 ways now. Do it yourself. That's get my book. That's the whole blueprint. If you're a do-it-yourself, Deshone, just give me the blueprint. As long as the blueprint's official, I'll get it done. That's my digital book. You can get it for 75% off in my bio. In my TikTok bio, Instagram bio, the comments, you get it for $24 if you get there before 30 minutes. And the done with you, that's when we're doing it together. You're looking at coaching videos, and I'm walking you through it, and I'm supporting you. That's also in my bio. So again, what's coming soon is the done for you. But and you know, that's our commitment, to be the best company in the world for the car buyer. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Let's get to some more questions. Keep typing questions. What's up, Martin? See a lot of people checking in on TikTok. Chris, good to see you. Can you do this with Tesla? Great question. Right now, Tesla is very soft. They have a set price, though. They don't negotiate. So what they do is when you're buying a new Tesla or leasing it, you know you don't need to get bids, because getting bids is to avoid overpaying. Getting bids is to avoid buying a car from one place and another place over here would have sold it for 5,000 less. Tesla operates similar to like the Apple store. You go in to get an iPhone on in California, it's the same price for the iPhone in Florida, same price in New Jersey. So you don't need to shop around for an iPhone. It's a set price. That's Tesla. But any other car is different. Every other car, it's different prices, 3,000 more here, this. So that's the difference. But with a Tesla, you still need to divide it. If you're going to lease it, you need to understand whether you should buy or lease it. That's based on how long you're going to keep it. And this is proving the point. The point about depreciation that we've been preaching. I've been preaching depreciation so many years to people who say, well, I don't lease cars, Deshone. They limit you on mileage. That's not true. You can pick your mileage up to 30,000 miles a year for most cars. You know, Deshone, I don't like to lease. I'm going to beat my car. They want you to have the car perfect. That's not true. They give you normal wear and tear. You can bring the car back with dings. You can bring the car back. They expect 3 years of wear. What they charge you for is excess wear, which is similar to negligence, abuse. If you have a baseball-sized dent, that's the stuff. But depreciation, Tesla is proving that people should not have been buying these cars because their cars are depreciating almost worse than any other car on the market. And they sold you based on, we have this brand, Tesla, and people went out and buy these cars. They didn't want to lease, didn't listen to the advice. Now they bought a $50,000 car that lost 20% of its value in a year. These cars that were 40,000, they can get them for 30. This is the dramatic depreciation. Now, had you leased these Teslas, had you leased them, it wouldn't matter to you. You drop it off after 3 years, you pay your low payment. See, leasing protects you against depreciation. Car values drop through the floor, no problem. I'm good. The buyers, that's a horrible situation. I would hate to be in a Tesla that I bought 2 years ago and see the values dropping the way they drop. Okay, but yeah, that's what we did. That's the only part of the system that we don't have to shop around for, Brian, which is where we're going to buy the Tesla from. But we still need to understand if a lease makes sense. Divide the monthly payment into the MSRP. If it's 1% or less, you got a steal. If it's between 1% and 1.5%, that's a good deal. The lower, the better. We don't lease vehicles over 1.5. A lot of people got bad lease deals. A lot of people driving around right now in bad lease deals. They put a ton of money down. Their payments are way too high. Give you an example. Look. I'll give you an example. What a great look at Raphael. $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $549 a month, no money down. $45,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, no money down, $549 a month. That's great value. India. Look, she got a Hyundai Elantra, limited, with the leather and everything, $365 a month, no money down. That's a below market lease. A lot of people, their problem, they got a couple things going wrong with them with leasing. One, they don't understand depreciation. Two, they're not choosing the correct mileage that they need for the lease. Three, they're overpaying for the leases because they're not getting multiple offers. And so when these people if that's you and you're like, oh man, I don't like leasing, I see why. You're doing it wrong. Follow our system, your leases will be great. You'll pay less than everyone. And that's what we do. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next question up. Keep typing your question. Greg the Barber, good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Greg the Barber. Taz, good to see you. What's going on, Simba girl? Good to see you. Leroy Rogers, stay posted. We got you. I have a 2022 Lexus paid for. Want a new Porsche 2024 or 2025 to buy versus lease. If you're gonna, are you keeping the Lexus? I would listen now. If you bought that Lexus and you're looking to replace it, you're gonna lose a ton of money. And if you pay cash, which is you either paid cash or you paid it off very quickly, what you're gonna see is when you go to replace, first thing you would do is decide, are you keeping this next bill? I'm gonna give you your first two steps, Leroy. First two steps, they're easy. How many years are you gonna keep the next vehicle? Is it less than 8? Then we should be shopping for a below market lease on the Porsche. That's very simple. Are we going to keep the Porsche more than 8 years? Then we can buy it, because we're going to avoid all depreciation with a long-term buy. If I got a Porsche outside and I kept it for 8, 9, 10 years, at least 8, then that's okay. Even if I overpaid for it, which I don't want you to overpay. If you really listen to me, then not only will you win with depreciation, but you'll pay less money for a Porsche than anyone else. I helped somebody get a Porsche Macan. He got 10, 15 grand off. He got so much money off, he didn't even understand the numbers. He just said, I had to get like 10 to 15 grand off of this because he had shopped it his way and he saw the numbers were so much higher. And then he met me. He used our system and the price dropped by like 200, 300, close to 200, 300 a month. And he was like, I had to save like another 10, 15 grand off of this. I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. So that's the first question. You're going to keep it for 8 years. If you're going to keep it for 8 years, then we buy the Porsche. And what you would do is you would now assess the value of the Lexus if you're going to sell it. You're going to go to CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, and Car Gurus. Again, I'm going to write that down. These are the companies we sell our cars to that we get bids from. We don't trade cars. We do not trade cars. The only people that have to trade cars are people with negative equity. That's why we want you to come out of negative equity. We don't trade cars. We sell our cars. And in fact, when you trade your car, you think you're trading it, you're actually selling it. That's why it's on that contract. It's on that buyer's order is, I'm selling you my old car for this amount. So we get bids, six companies, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, and this takes 20 minutes. So if you're committed to your money, you're going to do this. It doesn't matter if it's that's why, look, unlearn. It doesn't matter if this is a new process. Deshone, I never did it like this. Okay, then keep losing money then. These are your 6 companies: Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, CarMax, Driveway, Car Guru, Sell My Car. That's step 2 in my book. So what we just went over with Leroy was the first 2 steps. One is deciding if we're going to buy or lease. How do we do that? We find out, are we keeping our car more than 8 years? If yes, we're going to buy it. Are we keeping it less than 8 years? We're gonna shop for a below market lease. That's how we're going to beat depreciation. Now, once that's decided, we move on to our equity assessment. And that's what he's about to do. Go to those 6 companies, get the offers. Greg the Barber, I can't get my wife to understand leasing is better than buying because we trade cars every 2 years. Just bring her on here, show her the numbers. Just show her the numbers. Show her what a below market lease looks like. Look, Rosalie, she gets a $60,000 vehicle, $592 a month. $60,000 QX, that vehicle is $1,300 a month to buy. Let's continue. Teddy, $73,000 BMW. $856 a month. Now, these are below market leases. If your wife is looking at commercials and saying, oh, they want us to bring $3,000 down, all of these deals are no money down leases. You got to understand something. What you see on commercials are never going to be deals. A deal is when a dealer doesn't want to make it, but they have to. They decide, I have to make it, I need the number, whatever. That's a deal. A deal is not a commercial that's seen by 10,000 people that come on in and get these prices. So look at Zafrina, $65,000 vehicle, $579 a month. So below market leases, how do you get them? Multiple offers. I have the best system, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, for doing this because we do it from home. The Cars from Home system is the best system for getting multiple offers from home. So you can get your book. My new digital book is called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. And you'll have the entire blueprint on getting below market leases, purchases, new cars, used cars. and you can get it for 75% off as part of my welcome offer. It's normally a $97 book. It's worth every penny. You can Google it. You can see it's 5-star rated. But as part of my welcome offer, you can get it for 75% off for 30 minutes only in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. But you got to get there before 30 minutes is up. It's numbers. It's numbers. See, numbers shock people out of emotion. Me talking to you about why leasing makes sense, that's not enough to break the programming of people who programmed you not to lease. That's why I go right to the numbers. Now, yes, I'll explain depreciation, what's making these numbers so low, what the risks are taking of not leasing, and then the car depreciates and now you lost money because if you were going to sell a car for a certain amount and it depreciated 10,000 because you put a lot more miles on it, then your car is worth a lot less, you lost money. So I could talk to you about that, but bigger than anything is, hey, let me show you these lease payments on below market leases. That's what got me. When I was in GM, my manager said, hey, D, you want I was like, hey, I need a car. He was like, hey, you know anything about leasing? I was already selling cars and I really didn't understand leasing. And he helped me at 22 years old get my first lease. It was a $20,000 car, $256 a month. I had friends that had brand new cars. They were paying double. And mind you, these weren't fancy. These were Honda Civics, Toyota Corollas. They were paying $500 a month. I'm paying $256 a month for a similar price car. I never got in trouble. I got the mileage I needed. Drove 12,000 miles a year at the time. I needed that. One lease, I drove 15,000 because we were doing more miles. I bumped it to 15,000 a year. Leasing is a numbers thing. We drive off the lot in the same exact car. Your payment's double mine. You lost. Now, in the long run, if you keep the car, pay it off, and keep it for 8, 9, 10 years, then you didn't lose. But if you think we're going to drive off in the same car and your payment's $200-300 more a month than mine, because you say, oh, well, I'm buying mine, though, this thing's going to be paid off one day, then you lost, man. I don't care what you do. Look, see me in a couple years. Look at how much more money is in my bank account than is in your bank account. The money that's in my bank account is in your car. It's going to the bank every month. I do this, man. I'm trying to desperately shout from the hills to get people to stop buying these cars if they're not keeping them 8 years. Losing you've already lost thousands of dollars. Thousands, you've already lost. Once you come over to understand this, you'll realize, that I should have been doing this 10, 15, 20 years ago. I'm paying off my cars, flipping them, paying them off, flipping them, buying them, not even paying them off, flipping them. I'm trying to flip cars. I'm trying to flip depreciating assets in the short term. So many reasons why this doesn't work. I could kill this all day long. But again, it comes down to the numbers. Below market lease deals, there's no comparison. All right. But you'll have the system for how to get them in my book. So it's a digital book. So it'll be in your inbox before you even get off this stream. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next question in. Keep typing, y'all. We'll get through as many as we can. Yep. Energy guy for life. I have a car bought, but I owe more than it's worth. How do I get out? We talked about that. That's actually what we started the show with. So what I would do is I would go to either YouTube, Facebook, and rewind it, watch the beginning, because we started talking about, the first question we got was about negative equity. So we spent time talking about how you need to maximize your value, get offers. I don't want to go over it again because there are people on here who is anybody who needs to hear about negative equity? Type of 1 if you need to hear about negative equity. We might hit on it again. But there's a lot of people on here that were on here earlier that they heard about it maybe 20 minutes ago. But, we'll see. If a lot of people end up saying they want the question, then we'll come back. But again, I don't like to spend 10 minutes or 7 minutes answering a question and then another 20 minutes down the road, I answer the same question. All right, go ahead. Let's go, Dolan. Bring the next one up. Let's go. Do you have your book in hard copy? No, it wouldn't be available in hard copy because it wouldn't be good to do in hard copy. Websites change rapidly. Vroom, we used to get bids from. Vroom bought a lot of our cars. They were in the bidding process when we sold our cars to them. They were in our equity assessment process. And when we shop for used cars, we use a process I call the multiple marketplace strategy. They were in our multiple marketplace strategy. They go out of business. If you were using a hard copy of my book, you not only have to get another copy, you be going on websites that no longer exist. And that just wouldn't be an ideal experience. Thank you, Bridget. That wouldn't be an ideal experience. Another thing about the digital book is we get to actually link you to scripts. This is an online process. So if you're not comfortable with a digital book, this may not be for you. I'm just being honest with you. This is not for everyone. You need to be able to copy and paste, email. Like, this book wouldn't be for my dad. That's just real. My dad wasn't really comfortable with copy and pasting and sending emails because he doesn't need to do it for his daily life. He can send an email. It's just going to take him a couple. So when we're using our system, we're doing a lot of copying and pasting, opening up websites. So it wouldn't make sense to have a physical book there because I have scripts that we use. I have online calculators that we use that I invented. There's 5 calculators in the book that I actually invented, wrote the code for. You can't get them on Google. So these are all some of the reasons why it could never be a print book. It wouldn't make sense. And there's a lot more in there. All right, there's 7 paths. A lease path, but a lease path with with a third-party equity assessment, a used car path, paying car path. We have links that warp you to keep you on track. If you were reading a physical book, it just wouldn't work. That book is uniquely written as a digital book for a reason. It's not like I wrote an ebook because, hey, I didn't want to put out a physical book. It would be simple. It's much more simple. But this is a complex. We needed the links and to be able to, certain parts you get to in the book, and I say, hey, click here if you want to watch a video on this subject. You're like, whoa, okay. Oh, it's a video. I can understand this. Couldn't do that with a physical book. So if you want to get your copy of Card from Home, my new digital book, you can get it for 75% off as part of my welcome offer in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. It's normally $97, worth every penny, but it's part of my welcome offer. You get there before 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to get the 75% off. You get yours for $24. Make sure when you get your book, you screenshot the thank you page. Right after you pay, the book is on that page. As soon as you pay, it says access your book below. It also says I'm emailing you a copy. It also gives you my support team's email in case you don't get your book. Because a lot of people type their email wrong. Just reach out to my support team. They'll get you the book. But you have a copy of it as soon as you pay right there in that link. And keep that link. All right, go ahead, Dolan. All right, what is going on? I see you, Greg the Barber. We'll get that one in. What's up, Jackie Cox? Good to see you. We just bought a 24 Jeep Grand Cherokee. We traded my truck, wasn't upside down. Now we got a $900 payment. If you traded your truck, how long did you have the old truck, Greg? What year was the old truck that you traded? You just bought a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. What year was the old vehicle that you traded? What year was the old vehicle? Let me know because I can see your comments. So let me know what year was the old vehicle that you traded in. Just type the year because I don't want, I like to keep the show moving forward fast. So type. All right, it's 2019. That means, so if you didn't have negative equity, that means you just paid off that vehicle, or you put a good amount of money down, and then you traded it off literally as soon as you paid it off. Just depreciation alone. Let me give you an idea. Depreciation alone. This is that 2019 Nissan. What happens is you bought it here. The depreciation on that vehicle over 5 years is like this. Now, if vehicles just dropped in value like this indefinitely, nobody would buy them. No one would buy them because people would be like, why would I ever buy something that is a sliding board of losing thousands of dollars in value? You notice when you buy a vehicle one day, let's just say that you buy a $40,000 vehicle today. What is it worth tomorrow? Let's just say not even a year down the road, a $40,000 vehicle, you buy it today. What is it worth tomorrow? The day after you buy it, throw some numbers out. And I want to give Greg an example of why he needs to be leasing. And if he wants to you're losing thousands of dollars. It's not even a question, but I want to help you through this because again, this is not your fault. It's bad programs. People speak very, very loud about not leasing and they sound convincing. They never talk numbers though. That's the clue that they don't know what they're talking about. They never talk numbers. Okay, so a day later, they say you lose 15, 20%. Not that much, Nicole. She said it's half. No, it's about you lose about 15% in a day, and that depends on how soft the market is. If this was a vehicle that you could have got 15 grand off on, but you paid close to list price or list price, then you will lose 20 grand because you didn't know what the market was. Give you an example. Milligan Milligan just got $27,000 off her Mercedes. $27,000 off. And I got to show this stuff because people wouldn't believe it if I didn't show it. Milligan got 20. No, that's Melissa. Milligan got 27,000 off. If you zoom in on that Mercedes, it's a Mercedes EQE, $79,000. She got it for like 53,000. Now, had she bought this car, let's just say it's 79,000. Let's call it 80, just for easy math. Let's say she got it for 5,000 off. You know, she thinks, hey, I'm getting a Mercedes, 5,000 off. That sounds good. If she went back the next day and said, well, I need to give this back to you, I can't afford it or whatever, any reason, they're probably only going to give her 50,000 at best for it because they know the market on it. You overpaid for it. It doesn't matter. Like, this vehicle, you overpaid for. So although you paid 75, the vehicle really, the new market was only like 50 in the 50s. So she would lose $20,000. She would lose, $20,000 on that purchase. It's very dangerous to not shop the new market for a vehicle because you don't know how soft the vehicle is. We call it a vehicle that needs a big discounts to sell it. And some dealers are taking off 17 grand, 15 grand. They got big rebates. That's a soft vehicle. It's a very soft market. Very dangerous to buy these cars without shopping the market because you're going to lose. But let's get back to Greg. If vehicles just kept losing value like this, you never buy them because people will be like, man, these things are just, like throwing a stone in the ocean, but they don't. Eventually, they start to level out. So a vehicle that's worth 11,000, next year it'll be worth 10,000. And then the following year, it's only going to lose, maybe there are people on here now, some of you've had your vehicle so long, the amount that it's worth today is going to be the same amount it's worth next year. Your vehicle's worth 8,000 today. A year from now, it's going to be worth about 75, 76. This is now what your depreciation looks like. But in your case, Greg, and people you're buying these cars, you're literally riding the depreciation out, sliding board, losing tons of value, and then as soon as you're about to start leveling out, you go and you get another vehicle and you do it again. You're just taking sliding boards, losing thousands of dollars all the time, over and over and over again. And that's just a recipe for losses. How do we avoid them? We get below market leases. That same Jeep Grand Cherokee that you got, look at how much you're paying for it. And look at how much Raphael is putting into hers. Raphael got a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $45,000 vehicle, $549 a month, no money down. You're tying up thousands of dollars in that car. Thousands. Raphael is driving the exact same vehicle as you, $549 a month. Zafrina, got a couple people on here got Jeep Grand Cherokees. Zafrina has a $65,000 when she got the electric version, 2024. She's paying $579 a month. You bought this car, 65 grand. If you put no money down, you're paying $1,100-1,200 a month. Actually, no, that's more like $1,300 a month. Depends on what. Even with a big discount, $1,100 a month, 5 years. These are huge payments compared to what Raphael and Zafrina are paying. And you might say, well, my payment's lower. Only way your payment's lower is you gave them a lot of money up front. You gave them 10 grand, or you gave them your trade. I didn't put any money down, but I did trade in my vehicle. Your trade was worth 10 grand. So it's just replace the trade in with cash. This is real money that could be in your bank account. And I'm gonna tell you something before we move to the next question. Let me tell you something. Look, Melissa learned. She learned because she was just like you, Greg, just like you. And people like you. Listen, Greg, I'm not isolating you out. This is just a great example of what millions of people are doing. And again, I wouldn't know this if I hadn't been in the business. I'm not smarter than anyone. I just spent 14 years in this industry, and I love math. So this comes very easy for me, thank God. But you look at Melissa. Melissa, once you find out that you should be leasing, instead of trading these cars and selling them and putting all this money and keeping your equity in your vehicles, you should be selling your vehicle, putting the equity in your bank account, and then moving forward. Why can't I find Melissa's deal? Hold on. Here we go. So Melissa, she says, Deshone, I learned about leasing. I'm not buying anymore. She replaces her 2018 Kia Sorento. She got her bids. Her highest bid was from Carvana, 12 grand. 12 grand. So she normally would take most, if not all of that money and just roll it over to her next car. She ends up getting her Honda. She gets her Honda lease. She gets a 15,000 mile a year lease. Well, we shot with 12. We shot with 12. So she ends up getting it for about $575 a month. She got a Honda. Hold on, I'm trying to read this fast. She got a Honda Pilot EXL. That's probably a $45,000 vehicle, maybe 48. She got it for $575 a month. And look, nothing out of pocket. And look, she put the $12,000 in her bank account. So now her car payment is low, not high like it was when she was buying the Kia. And she literally pulled all that money that she used to keep in her cars, rolling them over. She pulled it out, put it in her bank account. Imagine selling your car and actually putting the equity in your bank and still leaving in a brand new car with under your budget. That's what happens when you move from buying as a short-term buyer, not keeping 8 years, into leasing. It'll change your world. And again, only thing you're going to say is, man, I should have been doing this years ago. I should have been doing this a lot. You know, we don't even get to harping on the money you lost. Do you think prices will continue to drop on vehicles? I do. We always get deals. We were getting deals when people thought there were no deals. All through the pandemic, we had people getting deals. Bonita right here got her Kia. She got her Kia Telluride. This was a dream vehicle. During the pandemic, and look at the year. You can see the year. When she got hers, it was 2022. Literally, people were paying $10,000 over sticker for these vehicles. People were leasing these Tellurides for $800 a month, $900 a month. She got hers for $600 a month, no money down. This is pandemic. You know, we've helped. I started this in 2021 in the middle of the pandemic. Everything that when you see people all on my pages, you know, there's deals everywhere. There's never a point in time where I go to spy a car in the last 15 years and I'm like, oh, there's no deals out here. Because again, there's always going to be a dealer who's going to sell. You just have to learn to find them, Nicole. You keep going into the local dealer thinking you're supposed to be able to negotiate a good deal with them. Eight out of 10 dealers are overpriced. We've proven that. Why? How can I tell you that confidently? Because all of us shop the market. You shop locally. We shop the market. What you'll learn to do with Cars from Home, my new digital book, is to shop the market. You go local to one or two dealers, they already know. NADA they taught us. When we were car salesmen, NADA taught us that people only shop 2 car dealers on average. So if those are the statistics, your local dealer knows that. They know as soon as they see you walk in, you know, can I get a quote? Can I pick a car out? Odds are this person is not going to shop more than one other dealership, and we're going to get them. If we just work and smile and be courteous, they're going to pick us. If they don't buy today, maybe we could get their business next week or something like that, but they're not shopping the market. That's where you lose. So when those two are high, you think the whole market's high. But using our system, what you're going to learn in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. I think sometimes I say that title too fast. It goes over your head. Cars from Home, that's a mindset, because we spend 90% of our time here. All of these people that you see me sharing in my streams, they are literally in their house 90% of the time to get these deals. Cars from Home, 7 steps, That means it's a process. It's not you're not winging it anymore. You're not winging the process. It's a 7-step process. Step 1 is the most important question. We're deciding whether we're going to lease or buy. Step 7 is delivery. By the time you get to step 7, you're taking delivery of your vehicle. 7 steps to saving time, which is what I love, money, which is another thing I love, and avoiding dealerships, which is something that most people want to do. So just in the title alone, you could understand what you hold us accountable to delivering. And when you Google the book, you'll see we deliver on this. It's a proven system. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and we have hundreds of people who've used the system. And grandmothers, single mothers, introverts, men, children. I'm talking young kids. Like, system works. It's like McDonald's. So you can get a copy of the book. It's a digital book. It'll be in your inbox in 3 minutes. Go to my TikTok bio, and it's my welcome offer. You can get it for 75% off, but it's only for 30 minutes. The book's $97. It's not $24. So if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link. You can get it for $24, but only for 30 minutes. That's my welcome offer. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. All right. How do I negotiate buying more miles on a lease? You get it up front. It's very simple. We shop with 12,000 miles per year. Shop all your offers. Once you get your best offer, identify who that 20% dealer is. They beat everybody else. You email them, hey, can you adjust it to 15,000 miles per year or 18,000 miles per year? It's very simple. If you're doing it your way, then you just call them and say, hey, all right, I'm gonna go with you, but can you tell me what it would be for 18,000 or 20,000? That's what Jen did. She shopped for $39,000 Honda CRV. Her best offer on this vehicle, it's a hybrid, very hot vehicle. This is one of the most popular hybrids over the last couple of years, the Honda CRV hybrid. $39,000 vehicle. Her best offer was $512 a month, no money down, 12,000 miles per year. She adjusted it to 18,000 miles a year. Payment went to $563. Then she signed her deal. So $512 a month, bumped it up to $563. So for $50 more, she's driving as much as she needs. 18,000 miles a year. She's going to bring this vehicle back to them in 3 years. It's going to have roughly 54,000 miles on it. She's going to get something else. That's how you get your miles. It's built in. You're customizing your lease. In the beginning, we customize our leases. The dealers are giving you what you ask them for. You say, work me out a lease deal. All right, I'll do it. Give me a lease quote. I'll do it. In my book, we have a template. This is how you give me your lease quote. 12,000 miles per year, first month's payment only, taxes and fees in the payment. This is what I do for a living. Some of you can't even get deals because you don't realize you're trying to shop online and you don't realize the reason you can't get your prices is because you're not giving dealers what they need to actually even give you the prices. Dealers need to know your zip code to factor in the taxes. But you like, oh, why are they asking for this? Dealers need to know what you do for a living. See if you qualify for any rebates. Dealers need to know what you look, when your deadline is. That's why we have templates that you fill in, email them. Because as a former car salesman, I know what dealers need to give you quotes. That's why it's written out for you. But again, if you want to do it your way, call around and just I would only speak to sales managers. I would only speak to sales managers. If you want to do it your way, I don't care how you get multiple offers. I just know my way is easier because you don't have to talk to people. If you have to talk to people, then you need to be a good talker and you need to know what you're going to say. My way, you don't need to know what you're going to say. I'm telling you what you're going to type. Go ahead, Dolan. Do you think the banks will ever get rid of the points that they pay to dealerships? Commissions. Let's use because you use a form of a commission. That's all it is. You could say it's a point. You could say, I could pay you a point or I could pay you a flat, but I'm paying you for selling this loan for us. So do I think that a person who sells financial products will ever sell them for free? No, I don't. No. And that's why we use something called the bank bidding war, where we are going direct to credit unions and banks, and we're allowing them to bid on our business. Um, Most people don't know that the credit bureaus allow you to have multiple banks and credit unions access your credit report in a small period of time. It's called the rate shopping. You can Google rate shopping and you'll understand that they allow you this. You can have multiple hard pulls within a certain period of time, and you can actually have them bid. They expect you to do that. Most people don't do it, actually. So they can't help you because they're like, hey, we allow you to do it, but you're not doing it. You're letting the dealer run you out to multiple banks and credit unions. But if you Google rate shopping, what it says is if you can have multiple banks and credit unions access your credit with a hard pull, and at the end of that period, it's going to weigh on your credit like one hard pull. So at the end, if one hard pull would have dropped your score 10 points, you could have 15 banks and credit unions run your credit, and it's going to drop at the same 10 points. But the difference is one strategy, you overpay for your loan, overpay for your interest, have no price assurance, no price guarantee that you got a good interest rate, and you have the same 10 points on your credit that you hit with the hard pull. The other strategy, you have the best rate, lowest rate in the market. You guarantee it because you have 15 people access your credit and make bids and make offers, and it's the same 10 points hard pull. This is called the bank bidding war. We created this. You can actually, again, when you get my book, I haven't combined this into the book, but when you get the book, you actually get the bank bidding war blueprint for those of you who are going to be financing and getting a loan. So this is everything we talked about in this stream is in my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can grab your copy for 75% off as part of my welcome offer, but it's only for 30 minutes. You won't pay the normal $97 price. You get it for $24 as long as you get there before 30 minutes. Get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments. Click that link and then click Get Book 75% off, and you'll have it in your inbox. Make sure you screenshot the thank you page because the book is on that page. I also email you a copy. And just in case you don't get your copy in 5 minutes, you'll have my support team's email. So screenshot that page. But I wanna. There's something I just wanted to say. Hold on. Let's see if it comes back. Yeah, I don't know. It slipped my mind. But listen, this is the. I mean, I take this serious, and the only people who really win, everyone who I showed you, and we could spend. Maybe I'll do it one day. I might spend one stream and just spend an hour just going over 50, 60, 70 people's deals that have used our system. After that, it'll start to get old because you're going to be like, okay, wow, these are starting to look the same. Yeah, they're all good. And then you realize that this is not complex. We're not building rocket ships. All we're doing is we have the best system for making people compete for our business in the auto industry. That's it. That's our claim to fame. Now, I also teach you about leasing versus buying and financial boundaries that no one else is really teaching about. But when it comes to getting the deals, when it comes to how are we getting the prices we're getting easily in 90 minutes and 2 hours from home, it's just we have the best system for making people compete. Amazon has one of the best systems for making sellers compete for your business. That's why they do well. Competition is what drives down prices. Competition is what allows you to make great decisions quickly. So that's what you're going to get in Cars from Home. Got my copy. I'm going to start shopping your way. Energy God for life. Listen, God bless you. Use it and trust the process. Do not overthink. Here's what I say. Bring your goal. All you want to have is your goal. Forget your strategy. Forget everything of every strategy, every tactic you might have thought worked for you with car buying and shopping and leasing. Just forget it. Just bring your goal. I want this Lexus truck. Yeah, I want this. Bring your goal, trust our process. Success is guaranteed. All right. And just stay on the steps. It's a step-by-step process. All right. God bless. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the evening. See you soon. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. If you are car shopping now, or you will be in the next 6 months, I want you to type me in the comments. We're about to go live, do some serious car shopping Q&A for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So you can start typing your questions, as many questions as I can get to in an hour. We'll get through them. And what you often will see, that someone else is going to ask the same question you have. So a lot of times you'll actually, even if you can't get your question into the stream, because usually by the time we get 20, 30 minutes in, we got lots of questions and we don't always get to them all. But usually someone else will literally ask the same question that you have. So, so we can start talking. I'm just sharing this to Facebook now. This entire stream is sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes in my TikTok bio, my YouTube, in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. And the book's normally $97. Everything we'll be going over today will be out of that book. Every answer that I give you is out of that book. So if you want the entire blueprint and you don't want to remember the things that we're about to go over, you grab the book. And obviously, everything we're about to go over, we wouldn't be able to cover everything that's in the book. There's like 100 questions that'll be answered in that book. So let me just share this to Facebook, and we'll get started with the first question that we got from TikTok. So type your questions in as fast as possible, and type your questions in one shot. Don't do like a part 1, part 2, and because then Dolan can't bring them into the stream. Okay, Dolan, let's get going. Let's throw off the first question, please. Nora, I'm upside down on my vehicle. How do I get out or pay off early? There's 2 ways to deal with negative equity. One of them is easier. It depends on the resources you have. So you have the option to pay the difference, which means you are actually going to say, my highest offer for my car is $18,000, but I owe $20,000. That means I have $2,000 of negative equity. I'm going to pay that off. That way I can go and do a clean transaction for my next car. I don't have baggage going into my next car. And I get to maximize the value of my current car through what we call a bidding process. So we don't trade our cars. We only get bids from cash buyers like Carvana, CarMax, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, Car Gurus, and Driveway. That's 6 cash offers we get. These are companies that fight feverishly to buy cars. They pay more than dealers, and they write checks on the spot. You literally go, have your inspection, they go into the accounting department, and they come back with a check for you. This is not like selling your car on Facebook Marketplace. So they're going to pay more than dealers. So you want to make sure, if you can, you sell to them, because that's going to be the highest offer you're going to get for your car. And that's going to be the least amount of negative equity you will have. If you can't pay the difference, then you must trade. And trading is a curse word here, because you never get what your asset is worth trading. If I wanted to trade this phone, I'm not going to get as much as I would get putting it on the open market and getting prices and offers for it. So trading is a last resort. What happens is, if you can't pay the difference, you now will go shop for your new car, find a dealer willing to sell you the car at the lowest price, and then you would ask that used car manager to value your car. I do not recommend you go into the dealer and let them just mix the deals together. Write me a deal where you work in my trade-in with my negative equity. No, shop for your car, get your best offer from a dealer, new car, used car, or lease. And then once you identify the winning dealer, that's when you say, hey, can you take a look at my car? What's it worth to you? Now it's its own separate transaction. And if your payment was this $800 a month, you'll know, now what is my old car going to add to that? If my payment was $400 a month, now I know what is my old car going to add to that. And I can see what you're giving me for it, how much negative equity I'm going to bring into this transaction. And it's an easier way to understand the numbers. You don't want to be mixing transactions if you don't have to. And the key to understanding negative equity and the cause is you don't lease. That is the cause. The only way you're having negative equity is you continue to buy cars, but you're not a long-term person. You trade them in or replace them before the loan is paid off, and someone taught you not to lease. So you're going to continue to be in this repetitive cycle because you don't lease. There are emergency situations where you need to switch cars, but if you're not keeping your cars 8 years, this is rule number 1 in my book. You should be shopping for below market lease deals, not for purchases. So that's your 2 options. Decide which one you can do, and then you make your move. Now, and also keep in mind, you have loan to value ratios when you have to transfer. The bank's only going to approve about 20% of what the actual new car price is. So whatever car you're buying, if you're buying a $30,000 car, the bank's only going to approve 20% more than that. They're not going to allow you to slap $10,000 on a $15,000 car, because they're only, they have loan to value ratios. So what you want to do, if you have a large amount of negative equity, you want to shop for cars, and you want to shop for cars that you can get big discounts off of. There's certain cars that have rebates. They're not listed. But in my system, what I do is I teach you how to get bids on cars. We have some people, I'll show you people who've gotten $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $27,000 off. I'm not going to exaggerate. The biggest discount we've helped someone get using our strategies is Milligan on her Mercedes-Benz. She got $73,000 EQE, and she paid $51,000 for it. 54. It's $27,000 off. I got it up here. So if she had, let's just say she had $15,000 in negative equity, it's no problem. She's not going to blow out the loan to value ratios because she got a huge discount off the new price. So it's going to fall within the bank's parameters. But I hate negative equity. I call it the devil to your car deals. I call it the bad credit for people with good credit. So it's important that when you get out of it, you know what the cause is, because if you don't know the cause, you'll be in negative equity again in 3 years. Most of you who have negative equity, you should be moving from a purchase into a shopping for below market lease, and stop tying up your money in these cars, and you'll never have negative equity again. 8 long-term people who keep their cars 8+ years, you never have negative equity. See, that's, there's a reason for that. I'm keeping my car, I'm paying it off, I'm beating depreciation, I'm getting all the money out of my car. Short-term people should not be buying their cars. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll get to as many questions as we can in 45 minutes. Now, let me just actually say this. We have a 7-step process. Everything in my system is 7 steps. We don't go, see, a lot of times you don't understand what you should be doing first. Should I be focusing on my old car, my trade-in, shopping for a car first? What should I be doing first? So we have a system that you actually now have a process. It's 7 steps. First step is the most important question. That's leasing versus buying. How are you going to beat depreciation? Because you're about to buy a depreciating asset. If you buy a depreciating asset with no plan to address or beat the depreciation, you are going to lose like everyone else loses. So we need to see, am I going to beat depreciation with a long-term purchase, or am I going to beat depreciation with a below market lease? Long-term purchase, I got to tie up my money. My money's going to be in the car 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, but over time, the depreciation is going to cool off. I'm going to have a vehicle that doesn't depreciate much. Who has a vehicle that they've had for more than 10 years? Type the number of years you've had it in the comments. If you had a vehicle for 10 years, type 10, 12. Even if you had it for more than 8, let's go 8, because it's called the 8-year rule. If you've had it for more than 8, type the number of years that you've had your vehicle in the comments. Let's see how many long-term people we truly have, because not a lot of people are long-term. Like, every time I ask this question, we don't get a lot of people that's like, yeah, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. Look, we don't have many people that can say they even have a car on here that they've had for more than 10 years, more than 8 years. But you're tying up all this money in these cars, and then you're going and you're replacing them in 5 years and 6 years. And look, Sharon, 14 years. God bless you, Sharon. That's a long-term person. Look, Ray Johnson, 9 years. That's a long-term person. So they don't have to worry about depreciation. Their car right now is worth the same amount it'll be worth about a year from now. If Ray's car is worth $9,000, a year from now, it's going to be close to 9. He's beat depreciation. So if you're not buying cars to beat depreciation, you shouldn't be buying them, because you're not going to beat depreciation in the short term. You can't. It's impossible. The only way to beat depreciation as a short-term buyer is to get below market leases, because you're never tying up your money in that car. not regular leases, below market leases. Big difference. Go ahead, Dolan. I see we had a question come from TikTok. Let's throw them up. Okay, what about a fun car? I'm planning to keep my brand new car for 5 years. My previous car was a lease and traded in since I had positive equity. That you're going to lose. Keeping a car for 5 years, a brand new car for 5 years, you're going to lose. And I'm going to show you how big you're going to lose by doing this. You can't keep a car for 5 years. If you're telling me you plan to keep a brand new car for 5 years and then replace it, this is the depreciation curve. This is the depreciation curve. You're going on a sliding board. Whatever you paid for this car, let's say you paid $35,000. In 5 years, that car is going to be worth $17,000, maybe $15,000, depending on how much you drive. You're literally going down a sliding board, and then you're going down another sliding board when you get your next car. You're wrapping up money in these cars. Now, when we look at somebody like Ray, who kept his car for 9 years, his depreciation curve doesn't look like yours. It looks like this. See, this is what it looks like when you first buy the car. You're losing value every single day. You're losing thousands of dollars in value on a yearly basis. So when you go and say, all right, I'm going to just go buy this car, tie this up. Let me show you why you can't do that compared to someone who's leasing. You're going to spend thousands of dollars more. So you take somebody who got a below market lease like Zafrina. No, that's too. Let's use Zafrina. She gets a $65,000 vehicle. She's paying $579 a month. $65,000 vehicle, $579 a month. That's what we call a 1% lease or below. When you have your lease payment is 1% of the MSRP or less, that means that's a 1% lease or lower. She has a 0.88% lease. Now, she's not over the next 3 years. She's going to invest in this car, $579 times 36. She's going to invest $20,000 to drive a $65,000 car. Now, if somebody bought this $65,000 car, what's their payment? Every $5,000, remember this rule, is about $100 a month on a 5-year loan. Remember that rule. Every $5,000 when you look at a car is about $100 per month on a 5-year loan. So when you look at a $20,000 car, you should automatically say to yourself, that's going to cost me about $400 a month. You look at a $50,000 car, that's going to cost me about $1,000 a month on a 5-year loan. When you don't do that, now you let them put you in 6 and 7-year loans because you're not focused on what the real cost is. You're just like, get me to a low payment. I'll get you to a low payment. I'm going to put you in an 8-year loan. So we know this. Looking at her car, she would be spending roughly $1,300 a month if she bought that car. Even if she got an incredible deal, saved 10 grand off of the car, she's still going to be spending about $1,100 a month. She's putting $579 a month into this car. How do you compare $579 to $1,100? How do you compare $579 to $1,300? Let's say she bought a used version of this car. So instead of $65, she found a used one for $40. Every $5,000, $100, that's an $800 a month payment. How do you compare $579 to $800 for a used version? You can't. So when you're out here listening to people who've told you don't lease, they don't understand depreciation and they don't understand how to get below market leases. These are not regular leases. In order to get below market leases, you must employ competition. You must get at least 5 offers because every dealer's price is different. So when you walk into one Nissan dealer and they tell you it's $600 a month, you don't walk out and say, hey, Nissan's charging $600 a month. No, Nissan of Bay Ridge is charging $600 a month. But this Nissan deal over here might be at $500. This Nissan deal over here might be at $420. You need to stay at home, get multiple offers. You can do this my way through email using the systems in my book, or you can do it your way, calling around and get multiple offers. But once you see how different these offers are, you'll realize how many dealers have been ripping you off. And 80% of them do this. 80% of them, their best offer is not going to be below market. They're going to make a certain amount of money or they won't sell the car to you. But we find the ones who will. All of this is in my new digital book, Cars from Home. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get a copy for 75% off for the next 30 minutes in my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments. You'll have everything we teach step by step. You can Google the book, Cars from Home. It's already 5-star rated. We've already got tons of people using it, talking about it. And this is what I want for you. I don't want you paying above market or market value like everyone else is paying. You need to be paying below market value. And the only people that pay below market value are people with strategy. Okay, so I would tell you, Kitty Cafe, the first thing you need to be concerned with is actually leasing and not buying. You said you were a leaser. See, and oftentimes people who go from a lease to a purchase, I'm sorry to say you didn't get a good lease deal. Because if I'm paying, think about what Zafrina's paying. Let's continue to use Zafrina as an example. If Zafrina's paying $579 a month for a $65,000 car, $579 a month only gets her about $28,000. Let's call it $30,000 on a loan. So for her to go and get the same $579 payment, she's going to only have about $30,000 to spend on a car. If she goes with a 6-year loan, maybe she can get like a $33,000, $34,000 car. That's it. That's her loan. So she's going to have a hard time going from a $65,000 vehicle to a $35,000 vehicle. Most likely she's going to get something used. It's going to be older, and she's going to be like, wow, I'll just keep leasing. But if she was paying what other people are paying for this same Jeep, which is probably, I would say a lot of people for the same Jeep would probably be paying about $800, maybe $900. People with no strategy, they're probably paying $900 a month to drive this $65,000 car. It's easy to justify. So they're paying $800-900 a month. Then yeah, she might say, well, maybe I'll just buy something because I'm paying almost $1,000 a month to lease. But that's the difference between a below market lease and an average lease. There's a big difference. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. The leasing versus buying thing is really, really what's hurting a lot of you. The leasing versus buying thing and the not getting below market leases. There's so many bad things about what's been out here with leases. It's horrific. I spend every day putting out information trying to dispel this. But I realize there is so many voices that have told you guys things. But here's the thing. I talk numbers and I show numbers. If you pay attention, the people who tell you about leasing never talk numbers. They never show you numbers. All they do is rent. Leasing is renting. Leasing limits you. You limit, they pick your mileage. You pick the mileage. It's so much bad information. But I've been leasing since I'm 22 in the car business. Got my first lease, Pontiac G6, $20,000 vehicle. I was paying $256 a month for it. Meanwhile, I had a friend, they're paying almost $500 for a Toyota Corolla. We both got a car for about the same time. They're paying $500. I'm paying $256. I'm seeing what they're going through with their car breaking down, getting older, because they kept the car for a while, getting older, and now I'm on my second car, paying a low payment. And as a young person, you don't want a $500 payment. I didn't need a $500 payment when I was 22. Just had my daughter. I needed that $256 payment. They had just had a family too, but they got to come up with $500 a month to drive about the same price car. The Corolla and the Pontiac G6 at that time were about the same price. You can't justify to me in any way that makes more financial sense. There's nothing you can say to me unless that person's going to keep the car, pay it off, and then keep the Corolla forever. If you're going to keep the Corolla for 10 years and then you pass it down to your daughter or your son, it's their first car, and now you just got an extra car, that's a different story. You shouldn't be leasing if you're that person. But if you're a 5-year, 6-year owner, 7-year owner, and you're just paying these high payments, you pay your cars off, and then you go back into another finance, you're just overpaying. You're throwing thousands of dollars out in the garbage, and there's no way around it. You put me against anybody. You put me on the stage with Dave Ramsey himself, the guy who has programmed thousands of people never to lease cars, and you give me 15 minutes. I don't need 2 hours with Dave. I don't need to debate you for 2 hours, Dave. If we're not talking about investing in mutual funds, you do a great job there. We're talking about the financial aspects of below market leases. Let me show you what a below market lease looks like. Let's consider what a person who buys their car is going to pay versus the person who gets a below market lease. Let's look at the resale values of this person who buys their car. When they go to trade that car in, what they're going to get back. And let's look at the net money they have lost compared to the person who got the below market leases. I will prove it to you in 10 to 15 minutes. And are you willing to tell your millions of people that you have programmed incorrectly because you know nothing about buying cars? You have programmed people based on you being a financial advisor, not a car person. You haven't seen thousands of car transactions to be able to say what you're saying. I've been involved with credit. Credit's a big part of what I do over the last 15 years. I don't teach it. Why? It's not my expertise. It's not my lane. It's easy for me to say, hey, I got a lot of people need to know about credit. Let me just start giving y'all some credit advice. No, because I respect the people who have learned credit to the T. Dave Ramsey decides I want to teach about cars. That's where he has led millions of people astray. And he has thousands of people investing in cars, short term, losing on resale, getting killed by depreciation. And they're like, well, Dave told me to do this. It's hard. It's hard to help. It's hard to get those people to unlearn. Go ahead, Dolan. Next question. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We will get through as many as we can in the stream. Good point. I only financed as I wanted to upgrade from my lease. My lease was $180 a month for 36 months. That's a big change. $180 gets you $10,000 on a finance. That's all $180 a month gets you. Now, if you put money down, that's different. Obviously, there's a lot of cars most cars don't lease for $180. So I'm assuming that you put some money down to get there. But again, what were you driving for these payments? You're driving a brand new car. There's no comparison. When you're getting below market deals on leases, there's no comparison. Again, let's look at Charles. Charles gets a Palisade, $48,000 vehicle. Some people, and you may own one of these, and if you were honest, you say, Deshone, I own that vehicle. How much is your payment? No money down. Probably $800-900 a month. Probably $1,000 a month. He's paying $597. Some people say, oh, Deshone, don't they limit you on mileage? No, you pick the mileage. Look at Jen. Jen got her Honda CRV. She's paying $512 a month. It's a $40,000 vehicle. That's normally $800 a month to buy on a 5-year loan. She's paying $512 a month, and then she upgraded the mileage from $12,000 to $18,000, and her payment went from $512 to $563. 40 some odd dollars. She gets to drive as much as she wants, as she needs to drive, not as much as she wants to drive, as much as she needs to drive. And the problem that that you may have with leasing is you didn't get the mileage you needed, and then you started blaming the lease. You knew you drove 15,000 miles a year, but instead of getting 15,000 miles a year, you took the 10,000 mile a year option. You looked at the payment for 10,000 because you might have not been getting a below market lease, so the payment was high, and you're like, okay, well, just give me the 10, and then you know you needed 15, so now you're going to pay the penalty based on not the lease's fault, based on you. You could have paid $45 more per month, got every bit of mileage you needed, and then you could have enjoyed your lease hassle-free, dropped it off in 3 years, no problem. So people are blaming the lease for their lack of understanding about how they don't pick the mileage for you on the lease. You pick the mileage. We got people who drive 25,000 miles in lease because they don't want to keep their cars tied up and have that depreciation on a car they own. If they drove 25,000 miles, any high mileage drivers, type HM into the comments. Any high mileage drivers, you drive over 18,000 miles. If you bought your car, tied up that money in that car, and depreciated it with high mileage, that car is going to be worthless in 3 years because you put 75,000 miles on it, and then you come back to replace it, and you have 15 grand of negative equity, and you wonder why. You depreciated the car. Meanwhile, when I was at Hyundai, I had a guy, I worked at Hyundai as a manager for 6 weeks. I had a guy who came in, he was dropping off his lease. I learned something incredible. I said, car had 72,000 miles on it. I said, you leased this? He said, yeah, man, I used to buy, I stopped buying because I would always have negative equity. I only lease now, 25,000 miles a year. I drop it off every 3 years, get me a new one. I'm in sales. I looked at his lease contract and I saw that his payment was less than $200 a month more than what a normal below market lease on that Sonata was. If a normal below market lease was $350, he might have been paying like $550, $525. It wasn't $700. He was paying a couple dollars more, but he could drive 25,000 miles a year, drop that thing off, never have to worry about negative equity. Mileage doesn't stop you from leasing. It's not about how much you drive. It's about how long you're going to keep the car, because a below market lease is how we beat depreciation or long-term ownership. Nothing to do with how much you drive. You pay for the mileage whether you buy or lease. Doesn't matter. Go ahead, Dolan. Keep typing your questions, y'all. We'll get through as many as possible. What's up, Ashley? What's up, Kenyari? What's up, boss babe? Ashley, good to see you. But I made my wife lease a brand new electric Equinox, $350 per month, and no sales tax. The $180 was a 2021 Corolla lease before the chip shortage for $3,000 down. Solid. These are the things that you don't want to get away from until you're ready to keep a car long term. If you are leasing and not keeping cars 8 years, keep leasing. Make sure you're getting multiple offers so that you can get these below market leases, so that you're not paying these prices on the commercials that you see with $5,000 down and all of this tax that's not included. We are getting below market leases, and in order to do that, you must get 5 offers, at least 5 offers. Now you get these below market leases, and you keep doing that until you are ready to buy something. Because as Cafe just said, if he's paying $3,000 down, $180 a month, somebody who bought that Corolla is paying $3,000 down, $500 a month, because a Corolla is probably about 25 grand now. So that's a $500 a month payment with their taxes that they're paying when he's paying $180. This is not, look, for a brand new electric Equinox, he's paying $350 a month. This is someone else who knows how to get great lease deals, whether he's negotiating for them or whether he's calling around getting multiple offers. It doesn't matter. He's getting prices that you are not getting. And that's the prices we get. You want to understand that all prices aren't the same. There's below market price, there's market price, there's above market price. Above market is for the people with no strategy. You just walk in and you sign the deal. You might say no one time, and then the next offer you sign it. Market value is for the negotiators who are trying to feel for the bottom. You don't know where the bottom is, but you say, hey, take $2,000 off. We got a deal. Give me invoice price. We got a deal. You're paying market value. You're not getting anything special because there's hidden money, rebates, incentives that you don't know about. There's markups in the lease contracts, in the money factor, money hidden you don't know about. And you'll never know about it until you get multiple bids. But below market price is reserved for the people who are shopping multiple dealers. We do it from home, getting multiple offers, and now you're paying $350 a month for a car that other people are paying $600 a month to own. You cannot justify pulling up in the same car and one of you is paying $350, one of you is paying $600. But the one who's paying $600 says, well, I'm going to own this. But by the time you pay it off, you're just going to turn around and get another car and do it all over again. So you never win, ever. It's a bad way to move. Go ahead, Dolan. What's up, Ray Johnson? Do you need to... Hold on. Do you need to know all the bells and whistles? I don't know what that means. Can you rephrase that question? Let's type it in another way because I don't know what you mean by that. Can you elaborate? What about the people that drive high miles? You should still be asking yourself, how am I going to beat depreciation? The first step in my process is to determine what I'm going to do to beat depreciation on this depreciating asset I'm buying. So if you're a high mileage driver, you drive more than 18,000 miles per year, you're depreciating your car so rapidly that in 5 years, you're going to have, call it 100,000 miles plus on the vehicle, but your loan does not move that fast. most of your loans are going to move this way, but your depreciation is moving like this because you are just using the heck out of the car. This is point and proof that you pay for usage, whether you buy or lease. If you bought a car and put 100,000 miles on it, you do pay for that. If the same person bought the same car, but they only put 50,000 miles on it, their car's worth more than yours. They can sell it for more. So you lose based on your usage. So in the short term, you can't win driving high miles because you are literally destroying the value of your car. Then you flip to another car. That'd be like you doing this. Hey, do me a favor. Give me this car. Let me depreciate it like crazy. Then let me swap it out and let me get this car depreciated like crazy. And you just keep doing it. Depreciate it like crazy. But you're never getting to the point where the car is paid off and now the car starts to depreciate like this. That's for the people. If you have a car that you've had for 10 years, 12 years, 9 years, 14 years, this is what the car is depreciating like. You're losing a little bit every year. If it was worth 9,000 this year, it's probably worth 8,200 next year. You beat depreciation. And that's when you enjoy, this is the benefits of ownership. This is what I call in my book, the reward stage. You don't get here without long-term ownership. And if you're not built for long-term ownership, that is okay. But what you should be doing is doing what my client who was in Hyundai did, doing your high mileage lease, shopping for a below market lease, and then driving the mileage you need and dropping off your car in 3 years and going and getting a new one over and over again. You're never tying up your money in these cars. If you're going to tie up your money in these cars, you better have it in there for the long run. If you're going to tie up your money for 5 years in a depreciating asset, you are losing money in depreciation like you can't get it back. That's why you're never happy with what the car is worth. When you come and find out what your car is worth, you're like, I can't believe that's all you're giving me for my old car, because you're thinking about how much you put into it. Long-term owners like this, those of you who have cars that you kept for 12 years, you're not thinking about the resale value, right? Right or right? You're like, Sean, I got so much money out of this car. I had this car, man, the transmission went out. I put a new transmission in it. I got my money out this car. That's the benefit of buying. And if you're not buying, you should be, if you're not getting there, you should be shopping for below market leases, never tying up your money in these cars to begin with. It's only two ways. Get out the middle. It's three people: long-term keepers, short-term leasers, then it's the people that's stuck in the middle. You buy your cars, trade them in. You lease the car, you buy the lease. Stuck in the middle. Go ahead, Dolan. All of this is in my new digital book. If you're like, Deshone, there's no way I'm going to remember this. You can get my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. Thank you to everyone who has rated and reviewed the book on Goodreads. We appreciate you. You can get your copy. It's normally $97, but for the next 30 minutes, you can get your copy for $24, which is 75% off if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comment link, or the Facebook comment link before the 30-minute timer hits zero. After the timer hits zero, price does go back up to $97, and it's worth every penny of $97. This book will be the top 3 most valuable books in your library. And when I say valuable, I mean the books that save you money. There's only a few books. I got a bunch of books. You guys can see I'm grabbing them. There's only a couple of these books that have actually put money in my bank account or helped me save money. There's not a lot of them. This will be the top 3 most valuable books to your bank account. That's all I care about. So go grab your copy, TikTok bio, Instagram bio, YouTube link, or Facebook comments, and you'll have everything we teach in the blueprint of how to get below market leases, below market purchases, below market new cars, used cars, high mileage driving. Everything is in there step by step. It's a blueprint. All right. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. Buy a car for the first time. I'm going through my bank. My budget is $8,000 and I finance the rest. So you have $8,000 cash. You want to see, can I get a vehicle without using that cash? So if you're talking about financing, first thing you want to decide is, what can we get without a down payment? So depending on where I want my payment to be, let's say $350 a month. Maybe I want it to be $350 a month for 5 years. Well, can I get a car with everything I want, everything I need, $350 a month for 5 years? That's my budget. If I could do that, I don't need a down payment. Now, if you say, okay, $350 a month for 6 years, no money down, that's a little more money. If you say, all right, $350 a month for 5 years, but then I'm going to use some of my down payment. Now I can get even more car. And then your max budget might be $350 a month with my down payment for 6 years. See, all of those numbers didn't change, but the terms changed and what you bring to the table changes. That budget doesn't change, but you don't realize if I get a car for $350 a month for 5 years, I paid less than if I get a car for $350 a month for 6 years. So these is how we budget. I actually have a tool in my book called the Perfect Budget Calculator I created, where you put in your preferred down payment, you put in any equity you have from your old car, you put in your max monthly payment, you put in the average interest rate, and it'll give you up to 6 goals that you shop from. So when I went and got my used Infiniti truck, I had 6 goals. One of them was no money down 5 years. Next one was no money down 6 years. Third one was money down 5 years. Money down 6 years. Then the fifth one was money down and the equity I had from selling my old car. And then the sixth one was money down, equity, and 6-year loan. See, there's multiple ways to budget where you don't go over your max. But I find the problem is when we budget with our max in mind, I only want to spend $500 a month, $500 a month, $500 a month. You usually go in and you spend what? $600, $550. You're putting $1,500 on a credit card because you didn't calculate the taxes. The tool in my book, the Perfect Budget Calculator, calculates the taxes in your state. So you don't go in and say, oh man, I didn't know there was another $3,000 in taxes and fees. Who's had that happen? Oh man, I thought we was making a deal, but you forgot about the taxes and fees. See, all of this stuff you don't realize should be normal in a complex financial transaction. But what they've taught you in the car business is to just treat car buying like you're buying a TV because it makes them very rich. I've been in the business for 14 years. I sat next to people who I know shouldn't be in the business, but they're not going to get them out the business. They make a lot of money for the dealerships. They'll always have a job. Even if they get fired here because the customers start complaining, they'll go there and they'll say, hey, look, I made 300 grand at my last place. Oh man, when can you start? These people are always going to have a job. So when you look at the industry and say, okay, if this is what the industry is like, what do they care about me? They don't. The 20% of dealers who get up every morning and they do the right thing. They want to beat their competition. They're honest. They want to make sure that they're giving you the best service. It's 20%. 2 out of 10. You're going into your local dealer and you're buying from them, not realizing that's an 80% dealer. All they do is make a lot of money on their customers. If they can't make a lot of money on their customers, they won't sell the car. And you know what's beautiful about the car business? For those of you who are wolves and sharks and evil, it's not about the customer winning. It's about you making the customer think they won. I'm going to say that again. For those of you who are like, what business could I get into where I can make 200 grand? And I don't need to have morals as long you are trained to make the customer think they want. And that's all it's about. That's why you start high and you come down. If you know your price on your car is $600 a month, you start at $800. This is what the worst people do. You know that the full price for your car is $600 a month. When Mr. Jones sit down, hey, Mr. Jones, all right, we got a great proposal for you. Great news. We're going to make you a great deal today. Your payment's $790 with $2,000 down. What? That seems like a high for this car. The car is only this. That seems real high. And then I didn't even want to do any down payment. All right, so you didn't want to do a down payment. So, all right, look, if I could get the down payment out, your payment would go from $790 to now it's $840. No down payment, though. What's more important than you, the payment or the down payment? No, well, both. But what's more important? If you had to pick one, well, I really don't want to do any money down. All right, so right now we're at $840. Where can we agree? I'll talk to my manager. Where can we agree that you'll be happy. Because I want to make you happy, Mr. Jones. Nah, I mean, I'm thinking of paying like, I really wanted to be at 500. Mr. Jones, I understand. Where'd you come up with that number? I just thought, like, I'm looking at the car, I'm thinking, 500 seems fair, but follow me, Mr. Jones. You're looking at this car, you know where the demand is, you know there's no cars around. This is all stuff that's not true. You don't know where the demand is because you haven't shopped. There's no cars around. You don't know that because you haven't shopped. But these guys we are absolutely trained to, if you want to use your powers for evil, it is very easy to get you. That's why we don't shop that way. I would never send you in to deal with people who negotiate every day for a living like this. Your power is being at home, having multiple dealers compete for your business, and that's how people like Tasha get these deals. Thousands off on a brand new car, only 1-year-old car. This is how. We have grandmothers who do this. Look, India, ridiculous deal on a Toyota. Look, Hyundai, $365 a month, no money down. 2024 Hyundai Elantra, limited, with the leather in it. She didn't get that going in negotiating. You can't. But from home, that's where the power is. That's why our entire system is called Cars from Home. I can sit here and walk you through why you can't win. I don't care who you are. So when I'm telling you, you have to change the way you shop. When people say there's no deals, they're right. To you, there's no deals. To someone who doesn't have shopping strategy, doesn't know how to put dealers against each other, there are no deals. But to people like us, we've been making deals. Let me show you, Benita. Let me show you a pandemic deal. When people were out there thinking, no deals, Deshone, this is so bad. When is the market going to change? Look, Bonita, 2022, she leased her dream vehicle, a 2023 Kia Telluride. She put $600 down, drove off $600 a month. She gave them $600, drove off. No money down lease. People were leasing and buying these vehicles for $10,000 over sticker. I'm not on here to talk to you about hundreds of dollars. What do I care about hundreds of dollars? You think we're on here, you think we're getting together to gather you guys to talk about hundreds of dollars? That doesn't matter to me. Thousands is all we talk about. Every single thing we discuss here is $1,000 mistakes. You not leasing when you should be leasing. $5,000, $7,000 mistakes minimum. You not getting multiple offers on your car. Could be depending on the car, you look at somebody like Kimberly. Kimberly gets $20,000 off her Maserati. $20,000. Sean gets $20,000 off his F-150 Lightning. These are just some of the, look, even somebody like Tiffany, let's take a smaller discount. She gets a Mazda CX-90. She gets $6,500 off. What happens? There are people who got that same car. You won't say, they're not going to say it. They'll never say it. They'll never come on here and say, hey, Deshone, I got that same car you just showed her get, and I only got $2,000 off. They won't say I overpaid by $4,500 because I didn't know this. But I'm telling you, I know this because I've been working with people around the country. So understand, we're not here to talk small numbers. When we're tapping in, we're asking you to tap in, lock in, so that you can actually keep thousands and thousands of dollars in your bank account instead of putting it in these cards or giving it to these dealers. That's it. So everything we discuss is out of my new book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a 7-step process. Doesn't matter whether you're leasing, 7 steps. Doesn't matter if you're buying new, 7 steps. Buying used, 7 steps. You want to sell your leases, which who didn't know you could sell a lease? Put a question mark. Who didn't know you could sell a lease? Type a question mark in the comments. Question mark. Deshone, what do you mean you could sell a lease? Okay, thank you. We're renovating with the jeans. Okay, look, Lynn, Brooke, Miss Tucker. Look. How much has that cost you? Not knowing, and we begin to teach people to do this during the pandemic because every single car was $7,000 to $10,000 more than it was truly worth. So a Jeep Grand Cherokee, I sold my Jeep Grand Cherokee for $28,000 after I had leased it for 3.5 years. 39 months, I leased it, and then I sold it for $28,000. The vehicle, brand new, was $35,000. Brand new, that Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo that I leased for $330 a month, paid $330 a month for 39 months. I sold it for $28,000. CarMax won the bid, and I put $9,800 in my pocket. I helped my mother sell her lease on her Mazda CX-5 for $10,200 in equity she put in her pocket. Now, those equity numbers don't exist anymore. That was a once-in-a-lifetime seller's market, well, so far in our lifetime. So far. There's people who still want that. They still are basing, and you may know people who are like, hey, well, I'm gonna buy this car and I'm gonna flip it because I bought a 2019 Mustang and then I sold that Mustang in 2021 and got all my money back. Try that again. You're gonna lose everything. It's over. It's over. That was a limited inventory, global shortage, chip shortage. Everything's worth $7,000 to $10,000 to $12,000 more. Those who cashed out won. Those who cashed out at that time won big. You can look back over history, and I helped a lot of people do that. You can look at my video. Some of my biggest videos, 5 million views, 3 million views, was how to cash out. People coming on there, yo, I just sold my lease. I made $7,000. Yo, I made $10,000 because of you. Yo, I sold 2 leases. I'm telling everybody during the pandemic, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out. You won't be able to do this again. But there's still money to be made if you have equity in your lease. There's still $2,000, $1,700, $3,000, $4,000. Some of you low mileage people who you lease, but you only drive 5,000 miles a year. There's equity there. But you got to know how to get it. You got to know how to get bids. What's the process? And get we get bids from CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. What is that strategy alone worth? Just the cash out, just the equity assessment, step 2 in my process is worth. For those of you who trade in cars, that right there, 1 step out of my 7-step process is going to be worth thousands of dollars to you. So you can get my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership, and you can get it for 75% off. That's my welcome offer to you, but it's only for 30 minutes. You go to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the YouTube comments, or the Facebook comments, click that link and get your copy for 75% off. You won't even pay the $97 price. You'll pay $24, but you got to get there before the timer goes to 0, and then it goes back up to $97, which is worth every penny. Book's worth every penny at $97. It'll be in your inbox in 2 minutes. And make sure as soon as you get the book, you screenshot the thank you page, because the link to open the book is actually on that page. You open the book on that page, and I also email you a copy, but my support team's email is actually on that page as well, because sometimes you type your email wrong, you're typing fast, you're trying to hurry up and get it before the sale ends, and then you end up typing your email wrong. We can't send the book to a wrong email, so that you'll have my support team's email there. But this is the most serious thing outside of buying a house. There's nothing more serious to me. And some of you are not going to even buy houses. Some of you like, Deshone, I'm a renter. I don't plan on buying. That means the car is your most expensive purchase. And you're going to do it over and over again. You might have 5, 10 of them in your lifetime or more. You lose $5,000 on every one because you didn't have strategy. That's a tough gig. That's a tough gig. I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And I'm not going to be. And anyone who's listening to me is not going to be. Go ahead, Dolan. Let's keep the show on the road. Do you need to know all the extras you want? Upgraded sound system items that are not in the base price? Absolutely. Whenever we buy a new car or we shop for a lease, we always build our car. We go on the site because we want to know everything's available, because we don't want to get a car and find out there was an option we wanted that we didn't get. And we also want to know what we can live with and live without. And we want to build our car to come up with an MSRP. So if the car you want the panoramic sunroof, you want the blind spot monitors, which most cars come with now, whatever it is, you need to have an idea of what that's going to cost. So once we build out our car, we determine our car is $42,900 the way we want it. Now, most times we're going to reach out to dealers and they're not going to have the exact car. That's why we always come up with, and when we're leasing, we come up with a couple colors. Buying, we don't compromise as much because this is a car you need to love. You're going to have it for 8+ years. You don't want to compromise on what you want, or be talked into some, or let you convince yourself of getting something, a color you really don't love, because you're buying this car to keep it for the long run. Now, on a lease rather, you can be much more flexible because in 2.5 years, you're getting ready to shop again. You get a 3-year lease, 2.5 years, 6 months left, it's time to shop again. So we want to make sure we can be more flexible with that. But yes, we want to know how much it's going to cost so that we can start to budget. We always say with a lease, when we build out our car, we take 1.25% and we use that as a gauge of around about what it should cost. So if we're looking at a car that's $42,300, we multiply that by 0.125 and we say, okay, $528, that's a fair below market lease deal. Now, if we can do better than that with bids, we will. If the lease program is not as good, when we get our bids, it might come in at 1.3, 1.4, our best offer. We're going to have more offers than that. If your other offers aren't higher, then you didn't shop the right way. Because when you shop, you should see a $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 difference from your best offer to your worst offer. When you get offers the way we teach, you're going to get more market value, below market value, above market value. You're going to see them all. And you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe all these dealers, this their best offer? Yes, they want to sell and make a lot of money. But we don't care about them. I don't focus on the 80%. We're looking for the 20%. So we use this as a gauge to say, all right, this is around about what I think I should be looking at paying, depending on the deal that I get when I actually get my offers. So that's why it's important for us to build the car. Those are all the reasons it's important for us to build the car before we actually go shop for it. Okay? It's a great question. I see you. I'm leasing this year. There you go. If I could get more people to lease, wake up and look. I don't want you leasing if you're keeping your cars 8 or more years. That's the key, because sometimes people will come on the stream, hey, is this all about leasing? No. If you're buying, there's so many things you need to know about getting below market purchases. New cars, used cars, we haven't had those questions come in. People are not really asking questions about used cars and things of that nature, but I'm answering the questions that Dolan puts up that you guys are writing. So when we look at purchasing, there's a ton of questions that we got to look at, ton of questions. But when it comes to people not keeping their car 8 years, you should be shopping for leases. You're not keeping a car long enough to beat the depreciation. The depreciation's going to kill you, not the loan. Doesn't matter. Loan's okay. You could pay cash. Doesn't matter. The depreciation's going to kill you. That's what you're doing. You're buying a depreciating asset, trying to keep it short term, flip it, and do it again. You can't win. The only way to win with a depreciating asset is long-term ownership, or never tie your money up in it in the first place, which is a below market lease. Go ahead, Dolan, throw that one back up. Arturo, does your credit score affect the lease? Sure. You want to have fair credit. I always tell people you want to get to about a 660, 680, similar to if you were trying to get a good deal on a house. You would be trying to set yourself up with a good credit report to buy a house. Now with leasing, you can also lean on payment history. So if you have a $400, $500 a month payment, you've been making it on time for 2 years, that weighs heavily and you're getting approved. I always say it's nothing that gets you approved for a new car like a paid on-time payments for your old car. The banks look at that and say, well, hey, we can see, yeah, credit cards might be high, but they never miss the payment on their car. They never miss that $500 payment. That means something to the banks when your credit score is a little in that marginal in that marginal range or that mid range. So I always tell people, get to a fair range, work on your credit so that you're able to lease, and don't tie up your money in a long-term purchase because you can't lease right now. If I couldn't lease right now, my only mission would be to get an inexpensive car, get my credit to a 660, 670 to lease. I wouldn't be trying to get a Dodge Charger, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 car. I'm going to pay 20% interest And when I go out to replace that car, I'm going to have so much negative equity because the interest alone is going to bury me because I don't have good credit. So now I'm no closer to leasing. My payment is going to be high. And I usually end up with an older car because I'm trying to squeeze my way into a nice car that I could show off and feel good about. Nah, I mean, I work hard. I want to be able to drive something that, I feel good about. But you haven't qualified yet. You haven't qualified to drive something great yet. If you have a 500 credit score, 600 credit score, you're not qualified to drive something ideal yet. You should be sacrificing to get set up so that I can make a power move. And what you do in getting set up is you get the least expensive car that you can get a loan on. You get a $10,000 car, quality, small car. Try to get something that brand new was $24,000, $25,000, Hyundai Elantra. Get yourself a smallest car that you can qualify for, and you have minimal payments, $200, $250 a month payments. You pay those payments on time. You make sure it's a quality car, and you go and you make a move for a lease once you've established yourself. Or you can just do what other people do and say, you know what, who could get me in this brand new whatever, or who could get me in that, used Mercedes? And you're going to lose in every way. The quality of the car is not going to be ideal. The loan is going to be out of control. The interest is going to be ridiculous. You might not get a great price on the car because you come in looking desperate. You need a car, not want a car. You need a car. So nothing is working for you. Everything's against you. So it's much better for you to discipline yourself. Say, look, I don't mind driving something that I don't feel great about, but I'm working on my credit. I'm going to make these payments on time. I'm going to get myself to a 660. I'm going to have 2 years of on-time payment, and then I'm pulling off the lot in a brand new lease. Power moves. That's a plan. Go ahead, Dolan. And in my book, that's called the SMART car strategy. It stands for saving money at the right time. If you can't qualify for a lease, your only goal should be to set yourself up to lease. Now, if you're buying and your credit's not good, I'm an 8-year person. I keep my cars 8 or more years. Nothing wrong with buying a higher priced car and refinancing it later. So if you say, hey, I need to get, if you're a long-term person, your goal should be get a great price on the car. You're going to pay more in interest and then fix your credit. And instead of changing the car in 2 years to a lease, you would change the loan, refinance, and then you would keep the car. So it's depending on long-term versus short-term is everything. That's why in my book, it is step 1. You need to know from the get-go, am I a long-term person, 8+ years, or not? Because that's going to be the foundation we build on. Everything else comes after that. Karen, thank you for helping with my digital book. I wasn't checking my email. Of course, we want to use cars. So you're just following the multiple marketplace strategy. There's steps before that. And here's what I tell you, guys who have my book, ask yourself, what step am I on? This is what I tell everybody that I work with. Ask, what step am I on? Because if you're doing step 3, but you have not done step 1, that's a clear indicator. Oh man, I haven't done step 1. Step 1 is leasing versus buying. Most important question. How are we beating depreciation? We go into deep. I show you lease scenario, purchase scenario, lease scenario, used car scenario, to make it very clear that if you set out to buy, but you should have leased, can't help you. You're lost. And I talked about that earlier. We ran Zafrina's $579 a month payment versus what a new car would cost her, which would be $900 or $65,000 car. That would have been $1,100. Or a used version was $800. So you can't compare that. If you go out and you get a great deal on a purchase and your payment's $700 a month, then that means that lease payment probably would have been $400 a month. It's no way to, how do I get out of this? You shouldn't have been in it. That's why this is step 1. So what was that question? What was that question? I don't even know how I got on that. Oh, you said I want to use car. Yeah. So we want to, so you want to ask yourself, where am I at in the process? Because we're not in the market until step 5. Step 5, we're in the market. That's when we're on our marketplaces, shopping, narrowing it down. We have specific ways we narrow down used cars. This is not just general information that you can find on social media and you Google it, how to buy a used car. Yeah, good luck. That stuff means nothing. Car salespeople are been watching those blog articles for years saying, okay, this is what they're coming to do. Don't tell them you have a trade-in. Okay, good. Stuff has been around for 20 years. What we're doing is we're narrowing it down when we get to step 5, based on title history, service records, accident history. Then we're narrowing it down and we're coming up with our top 5 choices, top 3 to top 5. Then we're verifying who has bogus fees, who put one price online that they're not going to honor. So all of these, this is my top 5 list, but some of these might be fake prices. So we need to verify that. And then we're going to get the new car price to find out what the true discount was. How much was this vehicle brand new? When I bought my Infiniti truck, I narrowed it down to 4 choices. They were all white, between $30,000 and $32,000. Sounds similar. They're not. You looking at 4 white Infiniti trucks between $30,000 and $32,000. Similar miles, all 2020s. They were 3 years old at the time. Looking at all 3, whoa, these vehicles look similar. Once I got the brand new price, I found out one of them was $46,000 brand new. The other one was $48,000 brand new. The other one was $52,000 brand new. And the one I ended up getting was $54,000 brand new. Big difference. See, so what seemingly was close was nowhere near close. The furthest apart was 54 to 46. It's an $8,000 difference between the least expensive one and the most expensive one. But without the brand new price, you don't know that. You're choosing the wrong vehicle, thinking, oh, I got a good deal. No, the good deal was that other one that you didn't pick because you didn't have the brand new price. So that's step 5. But we got plenty of things we do before that to verify the DNA of the vehicle, check the data. And look, let me be clear. It takes me 90 minutes to buy cars. I'm not putting a system together that takes days. I'm not going to do it. It's not necessary. Choosing your vehicle, that might take you days. Going and looking at cars, test driving, that might take you days. Deciding what you want. We call that shopping. That's a step in my book. Shopping, not buying. That's deciding what you want. But once you know what you want, 90 minutes. Now, first time you use our system, it might take you 2-3 hours because you're just learning. You're overthinking. Haven't trusted our process yet. That's normal. But once you see, wait, this is simple steps. I'm going to websites, putting information here, looking at this. This is stuff a high school kid would do. If I could teach a high school kid to buy a car, it'd be easier than some adults because they don't have to unlearn much. Adults, it's like, hey, but I don't have to go into the dealer. You know, hey, Deshone, I went into the dealer and this is what they said. Deshone, my dealer called me and they said this. Well, when did I tell you to talk to the dealer? I thought you were coming to use our system because you didn't want to talk to the dealers. Yeah, you're right. See, that's overthinking. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to lose because we got a lot. That's how a lot of people come. You're trained to do things one way. You have to unlearn that. But once you see what we do, you're like, man, I can do this again next time. It'll take me 2 hours. I get any car I want in the country, Bentley, Rolls Royce, Corolla. It's going to take me 90 minutes because I'm using the internet. We're emailing. You know, I'm not getting in my car and driving to a dealer. So that's what we need to focus on. I know you have the book. Make sure you're asking yourself, where am I in the process? Start with step 1, just check them off. Step 7 is delivery. So when you check off delivery, you're done. You got your car. All right. Everything that I'm teaching is in my new book. It's called Cars from Home. It's a digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off. It's part of my welcome offer. It's normally $97. But if you get to my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, the Facebook comments, or the YouTube comments before the 30-minute timer hits 0, you got your copy for 75% off, which is $24. And it'll be in your inbox in 2 minutes. So once the timer hits 0, price does go back up to $97. And it's still worth every penny at $97. Go ahead, Dolan. Dolan, you there? All right. Is it worth buying a BMW or Mercedes brand new or pre-owned certified? That's a matter of budget. As long as you're going to keep the car 8 years, the only difference between a new or used purchase is budget. And if you can afford both, now it's about your values. Do you want a new car because you only buy a new car every 10 years and you're like, man, I'm going to treat myself, I could afford it? Or do you want a pre-owned car because you're like, hey, I want to treat myself, but I could also take a 2 or 3 year old one and I'll be just fine with that. Now, what I always say, if you're going to buy something close to new, 1 or 2 years old, you need to shop the new market first, because you might overspend for a 1 or 2 year old vehicle because you don't know what the new market is for a brand new one. So, example, Kimberly saves $20,000 off her Maserati. Sean saves $20,000 off his F-150. Milligan saves $27,000 off her Mercedes Benz. So when you look at these vehicles, and I show these deals, if you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, that's Melissa. If you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, you can see these. You zoom in here, you can see she saved $27,000 off her Mercedes, and some of these vehicles, even with these leases, you'll see people have saved 10 grand, 7 grand. Now, let's take the more dramatic discounts over 10 grand. If you can save over 10 grand on a brand new vehicle, then that means when you go buy a 1 year old one, what should you be saving? If I know that the new market is 10 grand off, then for a 1 year old one, I'm looking for about 18 grand off. I'm not looking for 15 grand off. 5 more thousand, I get a brand new one. So I need to know what the new market is to know what the used market should be. Now, this is once you get to 3 years old, you don't need to do this, because 3-year-old vehicles, there's a lot of options, because there's only 2 ways dealers get most cars. They're going to buy them off their customers or buy them from auction, or they're going to buy them after the lease. So 3 ways. Buy them after the lease. Most leases are 3 years. They're going to buy them from their customers. Most people don't trade their cars in 2 years. Or they're going to buy them from auction. And most people are not getting rid of their cars in 1 or 2 years. So you don't have a lot of options to choose from. You have limited competition. And when you have limited competition, you have a high chance of overpaying. But if I shop the brand new market and I see, wait a minute, on this car, brand new, I could get $20,000 off. Now, some of you might say, wow, if I could afford, I'll just get a brand new one. If that's the market, because I didn't know that the discount was going to be that big. But once you see this, okay, I know I can't pay more than on a used one. See, somebody who would buy a 1 year old F-150 Lightning, truck's normally 70,000, 73,000. So they might look at a 1 year old one for 55 and be like, wow, that looks good. Thank you, Renovating with the Gene. They might look at it and be like, okay, wait, this is a 1 year old vehicle and you asking 55,000 for it? That sounds good. Because it's brand new. How much is it brand new? Well, 73 brand new. Whoa, that's a big discount, man. All right, yeah, I ain't gonna even argue with you. Let me get that. Not realizing that the brand new market on that vehicle, the person saved $21,000. So 73, 63, 53. So literally the brand new market on that vehicle was lower than what you just paid for a 1 year old vehicle. And what's going to happen when you go to resell that vehicle later? You're going to lose because you overpaid by thousands of dollars. So this is so important to understand. People overpay for used cars all the time for a variety of reasons. They don't know what it was originally. What was the original new car price to even know they're getting a good deal on a used one? They don't know what the actual new car, again, this is for the 1 and 2 year people. You got options because somebody asked, hey, should I buy brand new or should I buy pre-owned? That means you probably have the money to afford both. So you might go out and buy a 1 or 2 year old pre-owned. But if you're like Milligan and you bought one of these electric ones, she saved $27,000. If you went in and you bought a 1 year old one and you got 20 grand off, you might think you won. But she got 27,000 off a brand new one, which means if I saw 27,000 off a brand new one for a 1 year old one, I want 35 grand off. I want 38 grand off. The new market for this vehicle is very soft. So that means the 1 year old market should be very soft. It's an extreme depreciation. Another reason why you don't buy these vehicles. Now, mind you, you know what I didn't mention? the people who paid for this vehicle and didn't get $27,000 off. It's people who are going to see this stream. Again, most of them will never say it. They have this same vehicle that Milligan has. Same $73,000 vehicle. They went in, they negotiated. They said, listen, all right, come on, man, make it 10 grand. 10 grand off. And they went home thinking, hey, honey, you're not going to believe this. Guess how much they took off the truck? How much? 10,000 off. They in there, oh, I won. See something like this, that's why you can't feel for the bottom. Negotiating and feeling for the bottom, wondering, all right, I think I'm at the bottom. That sounds good. You can't win. In fact, I've showed you multiple ways you can lose huge like that, and people are losing like that. You can't feel for the bottom. You don't know what we have as the dealers. You don't know what rebates I have. You don't know how many incentives I have. You don't know if the manufacturer sent us extra money because we got to move these vehicles. You don't know any of that. You come in and asking for the invoice. All right, invoice on a $73,000 car, 6.5% markup. All right, invoice is 57, and a good salesman's gonna fight you for invoice. They're not gonna just lay down and give you invoice, even if they sitting on 20,000 in rebates. A good salesman is fighting for every dollar of the commission. So you've been, hey, how they gonna fight? They got 20 more thousand. You telling me they got 20,000 in rebates and they gonna fight me for 1,000? Yes, because it's perception. If they take off $10,000 for you in a heartbeat, you might think, wow, you took off 10,000 a little too fast. This is how salespeople are trained. So I'm telling you, the people who believe it, they're going to win. If you listen to me, you're going to win. If you don't listen, you're going to keep losing. And when I say losing, I mean, you show me your car deals. Show me your car deals. That's all I care about. Sean, I'm going to do it my way. Okay, show me your car deals. DM me. Sean, I did it my way. How this look? All right, would you bet me $1,000 I can't find a better deal than this? Would you take the bet? I'm looking at your deal. You did it your way. Yeah, I went in. I negotiated this thing. Okay. Would you bet me $1,000 that I can't find a better deal than this? Oh, nah, man. I don't think I want to take that bet. I know you don't, because you don't have confidence that you actually got the below market deal. You might have got the best price from that one dealer. I don't doubt that. But that dealer is an 80% dealer, and his competition would blow this price away. But because you didn't talk to his competition, you never gave his competition an email, you never gave them an opportunity, you don't know that they would have beat this price by $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. That's what we do here. That's what Cars from Home is. That's why our system is called Cars from Home. All our deals, 90% of what we do is from home. 90%, and sometimes 100%. Only time we can't do 100% is if a dealer doesn't deliver or we're buying a used car. Used car, we must go to the dealer. We must test drive that. That's our last step in our process before we lock the deal up. We cannot, but we've had tons of people who never left their house. I have a couple of them on here. Delivered the car. Let's see, we got people on here. Leasing process went quick. Sent the email. Anyway, I could pull up a bunch of people who just did. That's simple, because dealers this is 2024. Like, people think Carvana is the only place that delivers cars. There's plenty of dealers, especially the 20%, that'll bring the car right to your doorstep. Look, about 5 days I walked out. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think we've done enough. Look, everything that we've taught today is out of my new book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a 7-step process that I've developed over 14 years in the car business to buy, lease cars, below market value in 90 minutes. This does not take a lot of time. This is the easiest way. You don't have to be a great negotiator. You will stay at home where your power is, where you can put dealers against each other, put banks against each other. Thank you so much, Renovating with James. And you can employ competition. The same way you shop for everything else, competition, you can bring that to your car deals. And that's the only way you're going to get below market deals. And that's the only way you're going to start to enjoy car shopping. When you're at home and tons of dealers and banks are actually competing for your business, you actually enjoy that. That's why when you see people like Teddy, who said that I will never lease another car any other way. Look, supposed to a bit wordy. Look at Teddy. You got his BMW 2024 i4 M50, $73,000 vehicle. His best offer was $856 a month, which is a 1.16 lease. His highest offer was $1,123 a month from another dealer. His closest dealer, his local BMW dealer, was where was it? Look, the dealer closest to me was $986. His closest dealer that he probably drove by and saw the car and said, man, all right, I'm gonna work with them one day. $986 a month. He ends up paying $856, over $130 less than his local dealer. But he did it from home. And he said at the beginning, I will never, I repeat, never lease another vehicle any other way. Now, had he bought the car and got $10,000 off, he would have said, I will never buy a car any other way. The Cars from Home way is how you are in control, how you feel like the prize. And when that 20% dealer wins your business, you feel like you won. You know you won. So, all right, let me get out of here, y'all. Grab your copy as my welcome offer to you of Cars from Home, 7 steps to saving time, money, and avoiding dealerships. 30 minutes only. You can get it for 75% off, so you won't pay the normal $97. In my TikTok bio, my Instagram bio, click the picture of me, the YouTube link, or the Facebook link, and grab your copy. As long as you get there before the 30 minutes is up, you got it for $24, and you'll have everything step by step. You don't have to remember any of the things we've spoken about over the last hour, 15 minutes. You don't have to remember them because you will have the blueprint step by step. Leasing step by step, buying step by step, selling leases, selling your cars. We never trade cars, getting out of negative equity. All in there, high mileage driving, everything in my 14 years of experience is in that book. All right, so I look forward to you guys using it. Make sure you send me your success stories. Write me emails when you make your deals. Let's continue to 30 minutes now. It's only available for 30. Now, it's available forever. $97 is the price. Normal price of the book is $97. But for 30 minutes, you can go to my TikTok bio and you can get your copy for $24, which is 75% off. All right. God bless you guys. I'll see you soon. And keep unlearning, keep relearning.